hate that fucking hospitality.
Somebody else could buy that fucking synth. Why does it have to be me?
Sorry, I had to fucking ruin it. Just for him.
Star Trek Picard returns Star Trek to where it should be, about human beings and their alien friends striving to be the best they can be, and in the face of great adversity, and stepping up. And it's not about if it's what you feel, it's okay. No. What you feel is going to get you killed. You know what's not going to get you killed? Really knowing how to do your job, and working with other people that are really smart and know how to do their jobs. We have to put our emotions aside and get the job done. And that's what Star Trek to me was about. It was about being the best person, human being you can be, and finding the best people around you, the best of the best, to go out. And that's what you need to be on the final frontier. Otherwise, you will get killed. You will never survive. And Star Trek Picard is all about these people that are the best of the best coming back together and doing what they do best. And it was refreshing.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Picard Season 3 discussion. Today we'll be talking about, like the opening said, Episode 9, titled VOX. What does VOX mean? Well, if you haven't, me and Steve already reacted to it, and he just happens to be right here. What's up, Steve? You came back this time. I was like, holy crap, I thought you were done.
I don't remember reacting to it. Did I react to it?
I think you did. And I think it made you sicker. Like you already were dealing. You already had the bug,
Yeah.
And then the bug then it just exacerbated the symptoms even more.
Put me into a comatose or something during. No, I remember. I remember it was so bad. I remember. I think it made the flu run away from my body. The flu was so sickened that I watched it that it puked itself out. Like, get me out of here. I can't take it. No,
And you asked a whole bunch of questions that were, they were legit questions because you think everything was thought through, and it just, you watch it, you pay close attention, and you just realize it doesn't. And this is just simple viewing, like it has to make sense.
Yeah, we haven't I haven't watched any of these episodes twice. I haven't deep dove into it to pick anything apart. This is an initial watch with me and you just going, wait, what did they say? What did they say? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, how many times did I have to rewind it to I'm like, what are they talking? Like, what is going on here?
But I am glad that you have kept playing that clip at the beginning, because it has not aged very well. Because this whole season is feelings and hallways.
Yeah, it's a shame because I went into this wanting to like this. I wanted to get something out of this, and I believed Rob. I'm glad Rob is enjoying it. I'm glad a bunch of other people are enjoying it. It's just I'm not as sold on basically all the all the callbacks. It gets old after a while. I kind of want a story. I kind of want a story that's engaging and interesting. I want to see some world building. Honestly, seeing every scene with Jack, I just don't look forward to. You see him and Picard just talking about stuff, And it just feels like the episode's at a standstill because either Picard has to talk about his history or Jack is talking about his feelings because he's the mystery behind the mystery. Like he is the mystery of this series.
Don't worry. He will save everybody with the power of love.
The power of love. Okay. All right. So thanks for being here, Prophet. Well, we got our two other guests or our two other panelists, excuse me, not guests. Well, just going to bring them on. Alex, how you doing, man? You're muted.
I don't know if he can hear you.
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I am. Well, I watched this episode for a third time, took notes, so I'm kind of red in the face. I'm sweating, and yeah, you just see how that is.
I do. I can understand why one might have strong feelings towards this episode.
So, any initial thoughts? Did you like this episode? Did it hit you in the feels?
Yes, it did. It did hit me in the feels. No, on the whole, this was not a good episode. But as Steve has said numerous times, if I am perfectly willing to confess, seeing them on the bridge all together did make me happy. So I will say that made me happy, and I will also say this is not a good show.
Perfect.
All right, fair enough.
That's all I want.
Right.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
So all right, but yeah, that's I'll be honest, I kind of it's hard for me to explain because I'm just like, really? I'm like, this is like the chief. This is like the king. This is like the king of callbacks. Like this is like you saw the ships earlier in the season, episode 6, I believe. Now this is the big reveal. Like you didn't think they were ever going to bring back the D, and they did.
Bro, not only did they get the entire band back together, they got the entire band back together and then put them on their old touring bus. Like, that is how much we're calling back. The same transportation vehicle is being used.
And then oh, sorry.
So not only you have the entire band, well, except for Denise Crosby and Will Wheaton, but hey, and now you get the Enterprise for one final episode. So there's one episode left, and I don't know what this. We'll get into this, but we have one more panelist I got to bring on, and usually for these panels, because I'm a gatekeeper, Steve is a rage baiter, Alex is a white cloak. We have to have that bright center of the universe. So let's hear what Gray has to say about this episode. Oh no, not that, not that avatar. What does that mean?
If there's a bright center to the universe, I'm on the planet that it's farthest from. That's all I can say.
I heard that before. Wasn't that in a movie? That was in a Star Trek. That was in a Star Trek movie, right? Yeah.
Guys, I have to warn you, my computer's actually analog, so I don't know how long I can stay on this stream. Just got to warn you there. Okay.
How are we connected then? How are you connected?
I know. I think it's through the member berries. We're connected via the berries.
Did you tap into a quantum singularity from the Delta Quadrant? Is that how you did that?
I opened the red door and that was it. It was all in front of me.
Yeah, that like if you watch Voyager enough, like the solution was always quantum.
Quantum mechanics, baby.
Yeah.
Great to be here, Napoleon, Steve, Alex. Great to see you. I've finally seen the light. It's taken me 9 episodes. Well, no, I was kind of out after episode 7. I think it was, wasn't it? 7 and 8. I lost it there. I was like, I was just bored. But this is a classic. This will go down as one of the best episodes of TV ever. I might be sarcastic.
I think I read that as sarcasm.
Gray, I don't think you give yourself enough credit. Like you would say, I'm not out on it yet, but you were fairly well black-pilled by episode 4. Like, let's don't be too hard on yourself. You were pretty much.
He was digging deep for the good stuff, and he was enjoying it.
I was trying. I was looking for those positive, moments. I was searching, and now
you were finding some. You were finding some.
Find them
yourself. You were finding some stuff you enjoyed, but.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, like you enjoyed it, and I remember, we, episode 4 you really enjoyed. So did you, Alex. So there was points where we disagreed on stuff. So
Yeah.
I want to know, do you have pedals underneath your desk to keep your computer going since it's analog? Like, you have to...
It's actually clockwork. I wound it up so it might.
Oh,
run
okay.
out.
Oh,
If
okay.
you disappear, you're rewinding your analog computer. Okay, got it.
So it's funny. Actually, no, I don't think. I think all of us are over 25. So yeah, we don't have to worry about being
we're all
simulated
dead.
right now.
Oh yeah, we're safe. We're safe. Good.
No, we're dead.
no, we're not.
Like
They're
all the
dead. They're
it's
gonna
gonna be like Steven.
dead.
It's gonna be like Children of the Corn. They're all gonna come for us.
We're what? What is it? Weak and willful? We're weak and willful.
Yeah, we're weak and willful.
Oh no!
All right, so you guys ready to dive into this episode?
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Man.
Lead on, fearless leader.
All right, so what did you guys think of the big reveal in the beginning? They were really trying to go the anime route by showing all this weird ass imagery in his head. First, you see you see a very quick cut of a red silhouette of little Jack and his mother, and then you see a bunch of freaking I'm assuming they were crimson rose petals or maybe cherry blossoms or something. Did those? I mean, do you think those were cherry blossoms, Gray? You're from Japan, like red, just crimson cherry blossoms, just kind of fluttering all over the place.
I never thought about that. You've just ruined the whole cherry blossom experience for me now, Noporia, with that. Now I'll never stop associating it with Picard. Oh my god.
What is Who Cares, Alex, for 300? Oh, sorry. Playing Jeopardy. I'm sorry. My bad.
Alex Trebek, not Alex Green.
I forgot we have two.
Like
Alexes.
Noporeal, how long did it take them to even open the red door? It was going on forever.
It took like a good 3 to 4 minutes. Like these scenes are long. Like it's like you're taking a 50 minute episode, and like you're putting in like a standard or a classic Star Trek episode. Usually scenes were roughly no more than 2 minutes, I think. Chad, if I'm wrong, let me know.
Well, I'm glad you said that.
But they usually were to the point, and they talked about stuff that was what whatever the episode was about. Like it feels like when you get into a room with Jack, it seems like the episode is interrupted to talk about Jack's issues.
You said that exact thing when him and Picard got in a room. You're like, get ready for like a 10-minute scene, and I was like, what? And it was like a 10-minute scene of them just talking. It's like him crying. It's like, what? Like I remember that scene. You predicted it. It's like it was Jack and Picard right after the red door reveal, and you're like, oh, get ready for like a 5-10 minute scene, and I'm like, okay. And sure enough, it was long.
And that was so funny. I forget, it was you. What did you say? So like the thing that they say that was said was doors in your minds are elusive. What is your truth behind the door? And you said gay. You said gay. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but still.
What is the truth behind the door, Steve?
I did say gay. I don't know. I'm sorry. What can I?
No, he said grey. He actually said grey, but it came out gay.
Oh, that would be cool if Gray's like behind the red door.
It was a red. So it was a red door because he was on a planet that had a crimson arboretum, and he sees these veins. He sees these connections. And I'll be honest. I think I'm getting less sharp in my old age. Because there's a point where he says they're great. They're perfect, and then the scene darkens, and then you hear some menacing music, and I was thinking, oh shit, perfect. Who said perfect all the time? 7 of 9 in Voyager. That should have said, hey, Borg, right there. Not that I didn't know about that because I scanned the episode yesterday, so I knew.
We all knew it was the Borg. But may I ask a question to the panel?
Go ahead.
Was anybody else upset that we didn't get any Vecna or the Mind Flayer at all behind that door?
Yes,
all season I've been waiting for Vecna to pop out, or some new enemy in the Upside Down, and we just get the Borg again. It's just like, and what are the Borg doing in the Upside Down anyways? Like, I don't understand why they're there.
I'm guessing I think that red. Maybe someone in the chat can say that or maybe you guys can confirm. I'm guessing that red Badlands looking nebula was actually the transwarp conduit. Because it looks kind of similar to something that we saw at the end of Voyager.
Oh, hey, Brandon gave you a member chat, by the way. I don't want you to miss it. You want me to read it, or
I don't.
do you have it up?
Can you? Yeah, can you read it?
Yeah, so Brandon has been a member for 6 months. Brandon, the anime guy himself.
Thank you,
My
Brandon.
amigo. It is time to talk something fun again. 2K's anime hit me up, and with the con emoji.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think when he gets to 2K, he wants to talk anime. I think that's what that means. I don't know.
Anime. So that, I mean, like this opening part with the rose petals and the artsy fartsy, blossoms all over the freaking corridor with the vines all over the walls. I mean, that was just freaking. That was looked like something out of Evangelion. I'm just saying.
I thought we were in a different show. Did you? I thought
we were in
wait,
Stranger
are we
Things.
watching Picard? Yeah. Joseph Dreadnought in the comments, you just made a reference to Terry Matalis. He dropped a Red Forest in his 12 Monkeys show. I just remembered that. Nice one. Yeah, he's got to sing for Red. Red.
Yeah, and what's funny was he dropped another callback to an episode that he wrote, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So, oh my gosh, Salty Traveling Sea for $4.99. George Lucas said, "Good shows were a series of tight 2-minute scenes. This show is 2 TNG episodes worth of scenes stretched to 10 nonsensical ones. It's like poetry; it rhymes. I think I might have gone too far here." Okay, I can't do his laugh, but thanks, Salty. Oh boy, so. All right, so the Borg, what did you think about that? Like, the big mystery behind this entire season is the fucking Borg. You wait till episode 9. So for 8 episodes, it was the shapeshifters were infiltrating Starfleet. And now all of a sudden the Borg are behind the shapeshifters. That head thing was the Borg Queen, right?
No idea.
Because the Borg Queen mentioned Vadic, like she knew her, so I'm assuming the Borg Queen was the head. The Blofeld, the evil, the Sosai X, the Sosai X of the shapeshifters. The leader X from like your freaking Kamen Rider, your Gatchaman type of series.
I thought it was Steve.
Steve is the Steve is the head.
Steve is that weird head forming out of wax or whatever it was.
Yeah, and just and Vadic was the lackey. The season she was like the Destro.
Wait! You're talking about Jelly Monster?
Yeah, the head, the hand she cuts off and then becomes a jelly head.
Wait, so we're saying that the demon jelly head is the Borg Queen?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, the demon head is the Borg Queen. The demon head is the Borg Queen. She knew Vadic. You when you go back into when you go back to that scene.
Demon head.
She's the demon head because of my theory yesterday. Why were they working together? Because they injected Borg stuff into the shapeshifters, changing their physiology. I'm not joking. Nanoprobes are magic in Star Trek.
Why is she communicating to Vadic as a demon jelly head?
For the mystery, Steve.
Rather than as a mystery.
You see why this makes no sense? If Vadic and the Borg are working together, then Vadic knows that that's the Borg Queen. So why is she showing up to Vadic as a jelly demon head if they're working together?
Because the Borg Queen is connected to her. That's how.
As a jelly demon head?
Yeah, that's how they're connected.
Why does she show as a Borg Queen? Or a robot head? Or a jelly donut?
You don't want to ruin the mystery.
Why does she have to cut off her hand to even view that? Why can't she just, communicate, get a communication like a normal,
Because they'll ruin the mystery. The mystery is what's keeping people, glued to the edges of their seats, keeping them interested, right? Right.
Cell phones are too freaking 2020. They can't use cell phones.
See,
they got cut off those arms.
That really annoyed the shit out of me because they did this thing where they said, yes, the Borg and the Changelings are working together because we're both like collectivists. And all I could think of was collectivists don't get along. Like Hitler and Stalin were not good friends, guys. Like just because we both are a collective entity doesn't mean that we get along. I mean, Star Trek has had sort of a where I'm getting ahead of myself, but the political messaging of this episode was bizarre.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Real quick, it sure didn't look like they were working together.
No,
it sure didn't look like they were. When you force Vatic to remember that big weapon that they jettisoned that nobody's ever seen before. That's quite devastating. That they used twice and then just said screw it. I'm pretty sure that she didn't do that willingly. She did that because she was threatened. That doesn't have that's not the action of somebody that's working together with.
The Borg Queen is somehow controlling her through. I'm guessing there's nanoprobes in Vatic's DNA, or that biological crap that they invented for this episode that we'll get into.
That's invention. Yeah.
Oh God. But no, I mean, literally Beverly says, and if Beverly says it, it must be true. The shapeshifters and the Borg were working together this whole time. It must be true because, if Beverly says it, it's true. Yeah. Right?
Oh, she is the truth speaker in this series.
Yeah.
She is a genius. She knows everything. I thought she was just a doctor, but
well, she solved their issue in the nebula. They figure out that it was a mother, it was a womb, and then
I would like to know, in the explanation of what's happening, which is the most confusing explanation ever, did you count how many times she said so, or maybe, or if, or sometimes? Because the lines were definitely like, maybe, if, so, possibly, sometimes, could it be? And then they're like, yep, that's it. And then they just go like she's solved the puzzle. It's like, she's just guessing. She has no fucking idea what she's talking about.
So, so going back to the Borg, so they have, we're at the scene now where Picard's like thinking about Locutus because we have to think about Locutus because that's been every season of Picard. The Borg have to be in every. I mean, the Borg is. I don't know. The Borg have to be here. So you guys get some member berries hearing, the dialogue from Best of Both Worlds, and then they talk. Oh, there's no nanoprobes. It's organic. And then here's the fun thing: season 2 had the Borg. You had the Borg Queen, Jurati. Agnes Jurati becomes the Borg Queen. Then she fucks off, and then Beverly says, "Oh, but we haven't encountered the Borg in 10 years." Is that their way of? And then Brett brought this up to me on Discord. Is that her way of? Is that Metallis's way of saying "F you" to season 2?
Yes, that is absolutely 100%. I mean, Metallis has said "F you" to season 2 literally this entire season. I mean, clearly somebody at the studio mandated that he had to keep Rafi. But other than that, there is literally almost no connection to this season and season 2.
Yeah. By the way, thank you, Prophet, for the gifted sub.
About time Dread's a member. Good Lord.
So what did you think of we already talked about Jack's quarters and that 5-minute scene of them talking about Jack's issues, and then Picard talks about Locutus and what Locutus is to him. And
can I ask?
Don't forget, Picard blames himself very early on. It's my fault. They have to get that.
Have I not heard that before? Have we heard? Have we? I swear we've never heard that before. That is just so.
Yeah, we got pretty irritated, didn't we? At that point, I think that's where we started. Like,
me too.
It's just like, okay, all right, we get it. I mean, come on, just have a little agency. Like, okay, what can we do about this?
No, it's just like every time something goes wrong, he just. It's
my fault.
You can't look. You're freaking like. If you're in command, you can't look like that. You can't look weak like that. That looks weak. You have to be assertive.
He was very weak. You're right. In this episode, he was so weak. And they made him weaker.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Does that not look weak to you? I mean, I get it. We humans have feelings, and we want to be able to empathize with the characters. But we're on a starship, and they're in the middle of emergency situations, life or death situations, and he's in command.
Why is it his first response to be, "It's my fault"? It's like, No, it's not. What are you talking about? Why is that your initial reaction to everything? It's my fault? It's like, is your programming in your robot body malfunctioning or something? Because, like,
It's like,
everything is like that star blew up over there. Oh, it's my fault. It would have blown up if we weren't here. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? Get your get your spine back, and let's figure out the problem.
Yeah, like there's an episode of TNG. It was called The Drumhead. There was a very chilling moment where Admiral Sati has Picard on the stand, and she asks him, "Have you ever truly recovered from the Borg? You must be suffering for all the things that you did." And he just looks at her. He just looks at her and says, "I'm fine." And then he quotes her father, and that causes her to snap. He never says, "I'm responsible," and all that in front of anybody. He didn't do that at all. He actually responded fairly fucking well. And that's one of the best episodes of the series.
Is the syndrome that, well, he doesn't have it anymore, but was that a Picard thing, or was that a TNG thing that he had this aromatic syndrome?
It was in the finale. So there were in the finale of TNG, Q has him going to the past. So he's in the present, but he also travels to the past during the events of the pilot. And then he travels 25 years into the future, and he has the aromatic. But in that episode, in the finale, he had a beard, and he was just cantankerous. He was just a grouchy, cantankerous old man. He wasn't groveling and feeling sorry for himself.
Okay, so he had it, and they just retconned it. Basically, is what I'm asking.
They modified. It was a potential that future that he experienced in the finale was a potential future that they do address.
Right, but I'm just saying because the aromatic syndrome, I wasn't sure if it was a Picard creation, the Picard series, or if it was created by
TNG.
So now they've reached back into TNG and retconned it because now he doesn't have aromatic syndrome. He has Borg DNA in his brain.
And he works on the vineyard. The only difference was when TNG finale came out, this was before they established, because this was established in Generations, that his brother's family got killed in a fire. And then, of course, Picard is like, "I'm the last Picard. There will be no more Picards after this." And the reason why Metalis gave Picard a son was to address his distaste for Generations. Like, Mr. Metalis did not like Generations. That's why he put the Kirk body in the Daystrom station, and he gave Picard a son. I'm not a fan of how that. I'm still not a fan of how that was executed, because it just like it makes me hate Beverly more for denying him fatherhood. That's like one of the worst things you could do, is deny someone a chance to be a parent. And I'm not a parent. I'm not a father myself. So
no, 100%. This goes back to, what was it, episode 4, where he really tore into her.
Yeah,
and then backed out at the last minute.
He should have. He should have kept going, because he was in the right.
Oh, he was. They backed off of that real quick, which was disappointing.
I know. But right. Salty traveling seat, my bad, for $4.99. Thank you. Thank you very much for a sweet Star Trek motion picture 4K blue drunk Porio. Drunk Porio? That's a myth. You're really awesome, dude, despite hanging out with Steve all the time. Great. Alex.
Sorry. I know I bring it.
So you got the Blu-ray, or you got the 4K? Awesome. I can't. It's such a great. I mean, I saw it in the theater, and seeing the director's version in the theater last year, and it was so magical, and it just makes me upset, because that's the Star Trek I want to see coming out. I want to be excited for that type of Star Trek, and instead we're getting. I mean, as much as I'm giving this series crap, this is a better season than all the other new Treks. But still suffers from the same way that it suffers from the same structure. So, but that's just me. Apparently, a lot of people like it. I'm in the minority. We're in the minority on this. So. But thank you again, Salty.
Look, Alex touched on it before. I really am of the mind, if you just like it because you want to see the people in the room together, that's just fine. Say that, and that's fine. Yeah. Don't call it a good story. Don't call it TNG. That's the second coming. Just say, you know what? I really enjoy seeing the crew together. It makes me feel good inside. Okay, cool, no problem. I'm not going to argue with that. I can't argue with that because that's fine. If you're telling me this is deep storytelling, you need to get your head checked. That's all.
We got Stop George here, and Stop George is already doing what Stop George does best. He's posing questions that even me and Steve did not think of. Well, mainly Steve. So he says, please tell me how the Borg knew that Jack was a transmitter, and on top of that, waited 20 years. I can't explain it. You're gonna have to ask the writers.
Well, didn't they say Vatic was the one that knew it too? So how did she know?
And she never touched upon it. But I'm assuming I don't know. They knew.
How did anybody know that Jack had the super Picard semen inside of him?
How? Here's the if there was to be a means of fixing this, how long was this in process? How long were the shapeshifters before the events of the first episode? How long were the shapeshifters infiltrating Starfleet? When did this begin?
Don't ask questions, just consume.
That's exactly right, Greg. Just consume. You're asking too many questions. Just consume product.
Just take it.
Just consume product. Because if you
like
think
the
about
bit
it,
where they explain the plot again, Steve and Napoleon, Alex, they took it in turns. They gave everybody a line, so no one felt left out. Okay, let's explain the plot in case you missed it. Here we go.
That's exactly what I said to the reporter. Is like, this is info dump the episode. It's just like this. It's just like she's just like that's why you have these weird one-on-one conversations where they're just saying stuff. It's just like what is happening? And then it's like, and then if you pay attention to what they're saying, it's like, didn't they say? So please correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they say the reason they grabbed Picard's body? Okay. Which I don't know why his body's even there, but the reason they grabbed his body was so they could use that to code all the transporters.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
Well, they just got his body, so how did they code all the transporters with that immediately?
They stole the body, or they must have stolen the body months ago because
they went back in time.
Reasons.
Bit of time travel.
I mean, they blew up the with the portal. They blew up the Starfleet as like a means of distraction, so that our bad guys, our bad boys or girls. Sorry, I don't want to assume genders. Could steal the body, and so they had the body on the Shrike the whole time. I think.
But they're supposed to be uploading these things, right? They have to be physically by the ship to upload this to the transporter, so it works.
Yeah. So the shapeshifters. So the reason why, according to the episode, the shapeshifters were infiltrating all the starships, all the entire fleet, so that they could put in that Picard's semen DNA stuff, the Borg Locutus DNA sperm stuff, into the transporter, so that once you get transported, you're basically proverbially getting jizzed on. You're being jizzed on by Locutus. That's basically what's happening.
Picard is inside the whole fleet, baby.
yeah. He's So Locutus is basically fucking everybody. Excuse my language, but hey, we're talking Picard, so.
Wow. There are legitimately like 12 questions I have about this plan and this technology. Like, why did we have to wait 20 years for Jack to develop? Why couldn't the Borg have just made another Locutus? Why couldn't the Borg have just made another Jack? This entire plan is insane.
No.
According to Picard, it was because of Beverly. He attributes it to her that Jack was able to resist for all of his life.
It's a fucking computer code.
It's biological now. There's no nanoprobes. It's biological.
Oh god.
It's there. I don't know what to say.
Next thing they'll be saying it's magic.
Why
it's
didn't
magic.
Why didn't the Borg just make a fucking transmitter? Why am I asking
stuff
these
is the
questions?
transmitter.
No,
that
seems the
transmitter. That's I don't know.
Look. Let's pretend we're in the writers' room. This is what they did. Okay, we need we need a system to infect the whole fleet with this DNA coding. What's the best way to do it? Well, everybody uses the transporters all the time. How about we put it in the transporters? Okay.
Works.
Okay, that's a great idea.
I have no
That's it.
issue with that.
That's it. There's no discussion about how, why, when, how you're going to accomplish it. It's just let's get
Just
it in
accept
the
it,
transporters.
Alex. Accept it.
Okay.
Right? It's
So-
like I don't mind with it.
God.
I don't mind the whole concept of it being in the transporters. Fine. Like that this the transporters break you down molecularly and put you back together, right?
That's
Okay,
right. Yeah.
So fine. But how, when, how do they accomplish this? Because the timeline you have set out, they couldn't have done it. They couldn't have done it. So you just expect us to be like, okay, they did it, and it's like you gotta do the work. Like you're about halfway there. Like you got half an idea. Now just figure out how to actually make it make sense. Because delivering through a transporter is fine because it actually makes sense because, you're being ripped apart and put back together. You know what? It's like taking a penny out of a deposit every, you take enough pennies, nobody's going to notice, but you can still be a millionaire if it's a big enough company, right? Well, you put somebody back together, you put one little piece of DNA back a little different, you're probably not going to notice. Fine, that all makes sense. But how you get there is the part where the writing takes place.
Yeah.
They wanted Picard's body, didn't they, Steve? They wanted Picard's body. That was the whole beginning of the show. And then they didn't get it in the end. It was blown up. So how did they get it? As you say, how did they get it into the transporter tech? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. So
when?
It got on the strike, so we're but then did he get to the strike that all the bullshit with the Titan happened and they got captured on the Titan and then they blew it up? Picard's body was barely on the strike for an hour.
Yeah, right.
Like
Did we
it
miss
doesn't.
something, Napoleon?
We don't know when it got stolen, to be honest. They figure out that it's Raffian War. Figure out. Wait a minute. That was not the core weapon. Wasn't the weapon? There's an even worse weapon.
But it
And
was
then we
there when
learned
they
that-
got Data.
Okay.
Picard's body was there when Data was there.
I don't know. I don't think so. No,
We
it wasn't.
saw it.
No, I don't think. No, we saw Kirk.
I'm
Picard
almost
was
positive
Picard we
saw
didn't
both.
know about until Data had his little flashing eyes in the boardroom, and they're like, "Oh, that's what they stole. They stole Picard. They stole Picard's body." Yeah, we didn't see it. That was Kirk.
Okay.
That was who. That Kirk was who we saw. So
they stole it when they stole the. Are we assuming they stole it when they stole the?
they stole it before the.
portal
They
gun?
probably.
The portal. Yeah. The
Yeah,
portal.
they
Oh,
probably.
remember the portal weapon.
Yeah, they stole it when they stole the portal gun, which was
Well,
probably.
then why are they waiting so
before-
long to do? It just. See, this is the problem with mystery box fucking storytelling. You leave out so many parts for your mystery that it doesn't make any sense.
They were trying to get Jack ever since before the series started. So they probably stole the body, and then they were trying to recover Jack. They came in the three different forms: Starfleet, the Fenris Rangers, and the Klingons, according to Beverly. So I mean,
why
that
does-
is addressed. We just don't know. I mean, it was like a few weeks. I think it was like a week or
the
two.
Daystrom Institute
before.
doesn't this is that place doesn't report break-ins. Like
It doesn't exist. It's Area 50. It's Area 51.
Oh yes. So if somebody breaks in and steals something, they're gonna go ape shit.
Yeah. So apparently, I mean, that's what Raffi was.
Did they break it
That's what
again?
Raffi was investigating. That's what Raffi was investigating in the beginning of the series.
Like that is a Starfleet facility, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm asking the question. The Daystrom Institute is a Starfleet facility. Yes. It's a black set,
Yeah.
right? With
God
zero
knows.
security. Zero security that they're able to break in there twice. It takes them out twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't know why, or at least I don't recall why. So
It's like when they went back to the ship museum and there was nobody there. You know, they could just take the Enterprise. It's like- it was so
I
bad.
want to answer Stop George's question because we talked about this yesterday. The shapeshifters have been brushed aside, so that's why we didn't see them. Now the Borg are the big bad. So They brought up the
What's
shapeshifters
changing?
really briefly, but then
Yeah.
assimilation.
Boom.
Real quick, Mags gifted you a sub or
Oh,
a
thank you.
membership. Anthroporian got it.
Oh.
Anthroparian, welcome to the Continuum. Thank you, Mags.
Now, what are changelings again? Because I don't remember those.
They're the shapeshifters.
Change you.
Who? Shapeshift? Shape what?
Yeah,
I
the
thought we were
shapeshifters.
Borg.
You know, the
Borg?
ones that were in
Borg,
DS9.
right?
You know.
Oh, Borg.
Oh wait, sorry, it's the Borg now. Sorry. Excuse
So
me.
you're talking
Sorry.
about the Borg. I don't know what these changeling things are. You're
Come on,
Borg.
Steve. Changelings live in buckets, remember? They're the one-
Right.
Oh, God.
I'm having so much
Sorry,
fun with
guys.
you
I know I'm the
love you
positivity one,
guys.
but I'm reaching,
I love
guys.
you
I'm
guys.
reaching with this episode.
Hey, I'm
Were you
playing
disappointed
the
when
devil's
Rafi didn't
advocate
get
again
shot?
this week.
Naporial. Why didn't Rafi get shot at the end? I was so
Because-
disappointed. I was like,
Because they have to
No,
save. They have to
they
save
had to
the
shoot the
Titan
white
with the
guy,
power
didn't
of
they?
love.
Captain Shaw.
The dipshit from Chicago. Well, I'll be honest. The dipshit from Chicago didn't step in when his young officer had a gun to her head. It was Seven
that's
of Nine
right.
that stepped up instead, which is just that pissed me off.
He's done
So-
nothing for the last 5 episodes, has he, Shaw? Just said a couple of lines. He's done nothing. They cooked him out of it completely.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I was hoping there was more to him than what we saw.
Did
Me
anybody
too.
find that Passover of leadership to be completely unearned as well?
What him?
Yeah, just like
Seven
last
of
minute.
Nine? Yeah.
Just the
he
Titans, yours is like, well, no,
ship
the
is
Titan is
yours.
actually the Borgs right now, but like she's about to be dead too in a second. Let's
It was
not
his
fucking
dying
do
breath.
that.
He's dying.
It's like, but we've done nothing together, and I still hate you. But let's share this touching moment where I give you the ship. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
And you know how that you know what solidifies that when he calls her Seven of Nine.
Yep.
He's like, "This is yours, Seven of Nine," because you know how he doesn't call her Seven of Nine. He calls her, Commander Hansen, even though that's her biological name. Yeah.
It's wouldn't she want to be called Commander Hansen?
No, she'd rather be called by her Borg
She'd
designation.
rather be called her Borg
by
name
her-
than her human name.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the fans, that watch Voyager
Seven
know her
sketch.
as Seven of Nine. We don't really know her. We don't think about Annika Hansen, but
Well,
that's
that
here,
sounds sort of
that's neither
sketchy.
here nor
Yeah.
there.
Hey, Brian, we have
I'm
protocol.
7 of Scissors.
That sounds
Respect me.
that sounds like some Borg talk to me. We better lock her up. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's relating with the Borg. We have protocols. Let's put her in prison. Oh, but that's right, Craig. You hit on it. The power. See, the reason they're alive and Rafi stayed there. This is my hypothesis.
Mhm.
That 7 of 9 and Rafi are going to hold hands. Okay, and they're going to go to the bridge and they're going to save the Titan with the power of love. And then they're gonna scissor on the fucking on the bridge.
In the captain's chair.
Exactly, that's it. That's how it's gonna go.
No, but guys, being serious for a second, let's
Sorry,
maybe
I'm-
Naporial or Alex. Can you find anything positive? Let's look for the positives in this episode. Come on, because we are being a bit
Yeah.
negative.
I mean, what did was there something I liked? Well, I'll say the beginning, the mystery did not blow me away. The Borg, I'm like, really, the Borg? Okay, fine, whatever.
Surprise.
Bringing back Locutus, that scene with Jack and Picard. Oh, we didn't talk about that. Oh, sorry.
Well, hold on,
I'm trying
let's
to
find
find
the
something
positives
positive. He just
I know Alex had some positives, so like.
Yeah, Alex, come on, man, you can do it. You can save us. Save us.
As Steve has said, and as I said in the intro, seeing them all together made me feel things. When he said engage,
No, it wasn't even that. Because he says engage like it's like a meme. He said make it so.
make it so.
He said make it so.
I think he said both. I think.
Oh yeah, he
They literally powered through every significant
so
line he's
engaged.
ever said.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
but he never like make it like he says make it so when somebody comes up with an idea or a solution and then he's like make it so, being the captain, having a little agency, that was nice. And then of course I mean, I'll be honest. I liked the D. I really enjoyed the D. I really
You waited
enjoyed the
for
D.
the D, and the D brought
Yeah,
it to you.
It's a dad joke. Sue me. Yeah, I like them being on the D, on Jordy's D, LaForge's D,
Because it's
Enterprise
on
D.
Don't forget.
What do you think I was thinking, Dick? No.
Gray has destroyed me. I can't get it out of my head. Just Picard just going through all of his catchphrases on the bridge at the end. Just be like, tea, Earl Grey hot, engage, make it so. All it was is just like,
There are 4 lights.
What did you? Okay, the lighting, the thing that me and Steve were like, are they going to keep this set dark because of what the new Trek has been doing this entire time? And they light this fucking set. They light the fucking set. It's just like, yes, we are fucking stupid, and I think this is their way of saying, hey, we're going to be doing this from now on. Or do you think I'm full of shit?
oh,
No, they're not. They're not going to do it. No, it was purely a throwback because they made a bunch of jokes about it. They made a joke about the lighting. They made the joke about the carpet. The one thing that I've missed most of all, not you all, the carpet. Like they made a bunch of jokes about it. And
Meanwhile, on Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Meanwhile, the fleet has been taken over by the. Okay, we didn't get to that yet. We didn't get to that relevant.
We're on positives. So
we're on positives. Yeah.
You like the D, the crew getting back together.
The fireworks, Steve. The fireworks. That was the best part. I enjoyed the fireworks in space. Serious.
What? Okay, so
who was
They were so pretty.
Like, because I was like, fireworks to space, and they're like, they're made of plasma, so it's okay. I'm like, oh, okay, good. Then fireworks in space.
what about Admiral Shelby? What about her little cameo?
Who was she? Where was Admiral Pure effing hubris? I wanted her, like you said, Steve. I wanted her to be in the end. That would be
You wanted her to be shot up, and instead they shoot up Elizabeth Dennehy's. Or at least they found her and brought her back for this.
Who?
And,
the dead person.
They nearly had a conversation, but they had a conversation. She was looking at them, and then they cut off, and so we didn't even get to see an interaction. We just see her. She delivers a commencement address for the fleet parade, whatever.
Can you believe?
And then they talk to her. She looks at them like, huh? And then they get cut off because of the I forget what they call the frickin' connection. The what's it called? The fleet command.
Fleet maneuver. Fleet retardedness.
Fleet formation. It's called fleet formation.
Oh my god.
So they get cut off, and they get cut off. They get cut off, and get this one. I'm taking this was meant to be a joke. The Excelsior. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, bro, do you see Sulu's name on the?
That's what I'm getting at. The Excelsior was destroyed by the USS Hikaru Sulu and 3 other ships. Are you kidding? As Captain Sulu would say. Oh my! Shields.
Somebody. So I need. I know we're sort of all over the place. Can somebody explain to me? Was fleet formation an actual Starfleet idea, or was that implanted by the Borg or the? Well, the Borg. There are no changelings. So, did the Borg implant fleet formation into Starfleet, or was this an actual Starfleet idea? Or do we have no
don't know for sure. All they said was that it's ironic that Shelby would endorse this Borg-like idea. Like that's literally what Picard says in that. That's what he says.
Yeah, I know.
I have to assume it was a Starfleet idea. Otherwise, Shelby wouldn't have been bragging about it.
So they're stupid.
Or it could have been. Well, remember the shapeshifters infiltrated Starfleet. They could have brought the idea to her, and then she's just like,
right, but but she still agreed because she's obviously not a Borg, right? I mean, she's obviously not. So it has to be a Starfleet idea because at least past some Starfleet people. Because she seemed happy and impressed with fleet formation, right?
The buck stops here, guys. I have to. We have to give Shelby responsibility for it.
Yeah.
So
I like what did she? So
Starfleet
she
show.
basically says this. I mean, this thing that causes a synchronistic technology that allows every Starfleet ship to operate as one, an impenetrable armada. It's ironic that she signed off on a very Borg-like feature. That's what Picard says. And I'm like, I don't like how this
An
looks. Unity and
impenetrable
defense, the
fleet.
ultimate safeguard against fleet-wide incapacitation to protect our crews and our continued exploration of the final frontier. Whatever.
Since when are all these ships close together enough to do this crap? Like
This would never, like I said yesterday, this would never be a thing. Like they would, there's always ships out there in the galaxy exploring in deep space.
The ships,
Or maybe it's just not. Maybe it's just not a 25th century thing. Maybe that's outdated cowboy diplomacy from the 23rd and 24th centuries.
Well, we're weak and willful, so maybe.
That's true.
Look, I mean, purely from a tactical perspective, every time you can get all of your forces condensed into one super tight location so that they can all be vulnerable at one time. I mean, that's clearly the optimal strategy, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, I didn't see this problem occurring. Not
No.
in the universe where the Borg exists. I never saw this happening.
Also,
And I'll be honest, the fleet looked bad.
yes,
Like I did not like the CGI. Like the way they showed the movements, or maybe it was the camera movement, it did not look good. Like compare that to seeing the fleets in DS9. Even though they reused, they copied and pasted different, same starships, but that looked way better than what we saw.
You guys are okay with the way like ships look individually, right? So I don't why can they get the ships done okay, but when it comes to all of the ships, they can't do it. Because you guys were happy with how the Enterprise looked and all that, right? The Titan. I feel like you guys said that in the past that you guys were pretty happy with how the ships looked on their own individually, like the Shrike and,
Oh yeah,
and the Titan.
the Intrepid. The Intrepid when it was rising back up, that was a great in episode 5. That was a great shot.
So why can they do it there, but they can't do it for? I don't know. It's just a lack of attention to detail, I think.
I don't know. I
Or
honestly
talent.
don't
I
know.
don't know.
But Stop George, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Oh, but okay. So, any other positives that you can think of besides seeing the D?
Oh,
No.
you know what? I did say that at least no. So this is coming from Captain Negative. At least Troy said something smart when it came to Jack.
Oh yeah, he's dangerous.
She was the only one, and I remember talking to you about it. She was the only one. She was speaking some truth there. When they discovered that he's got a Borg in his brain, and she says we got protocols that we need to follow because he's dangerous. We need to take him off the board, so to speak.
Yeah.
She was at least talking some sense there, because then he does exactly what all of us knew he was going to do. He took control of everybody and then walked off the ship. Like he owned the place. Here's my big problem. They just let him go. The reason why all this shit happened was because they let him go. It's kind of like you remember how we're talking about Prey, like the main character in Prey was responsible for all the shit that went down. Yep.
That's how I feel here with Jack. Jack leaving and trying to kill the Borg Queen, and she ends up capturing because he can't shoot her for reasons. I guess she can control him. The fact that he's there and he's connected is the reason why all this shit went down. That's why all the under 25-year-olds, all the young cadets on those ships are assimilated now because he got captured and they connected him. The Borg Queen connected him to the system.
Why didn't we see the Borg Queen's face? Disappointing.
It was Alice Krieg from First Contact. So I don't know if it's because
saw the back.
I don't know why they.
Oh, it'll be a
Honestly,
big
I don't
reveal. It'll be a big reveal next episode. When he
No
kills-
budget for CG, or they couldn't pay for the actress probably.
This is like if you only have to pay her for one episode rather than two.
Yeah.
And it's just in the credits it said the voice of the Borg Queen, not the Borg Queen herself. So,
Okay.
So maybe, but that could change for next. That could change for next week. We'll see. I'll be surprised if they don't. I'll be surprised if they don't do that. But
No problem. What did you think of the J.J. Abrams moment where they had all the ships, that formation
He
nonsense?
said the exact same thing about the.
I said that yesterday. Didn't you think episode 9? Didn't you think episode 9 with all the Star Destroyers? And I'm not the only one that thought this. I mean, it's someone Lord Crit in my Discord.
I thought they were going to spell out like B-O-R-G because they were in like shapes, weren't they?
That was so
okay. All right. Here's another.
Why did they make ship? Like what did they form anyways? What was that?
I guess and that was a Borg symbol or something. I don't know.
This is stupid. Like what are you doing?
It said analog in Borg, I think. Analog.
It's in Vox and Borg. No, Greg. He said the exact. He's like, Steve, have you seen episode 9? And I thankfully said, no, I have not seen episode 9 of Star Wars. Thank God. It's like, well, you've seen screenshots. I'm like, oh, you're talking about the 8 million Star Destroyers. Is like, yeah. Does this remind you of that? Like,
why have one where you can have 20 million?
Yeah. Remember when one Star Destroyer you shat your pants when you saw one Star Destroyer?
Yeah, remember how imposing it used to be?
And it was
threatening.
It was threatening, and you see from the back, and it's going and going
massive,
and going
huge,
and going
sense
and
of
going.
Scale.
You saw one starship, and you just go,
one.
Whoa! Look at that starship. That's
huge. Motion picture. You see the Enterprise. 5 minutes of them just approaching the Enterprise, and you hear the beautiful Jerry Goldsmith music, and they were trying to recapture that scene in the they're trying to recapture that scene with the Enterprise D that's why you see all the fawning. That's why you see them fawning all over it, even though Prophet, like you said, the fleet is converging on Earth. They're going to take out the space dock. They're going to take out all the Earth defenses. They're going to kill everybody that's not assimilated.
I don't know if we want to jump to the end, but
no, we don't.
Oh God!
But the reason this all happened was because they let Jack escape.
Yeah. They just let him go.
This would not have happened. This would not have happened.
Data is on the ship.
I do. That's why I do not. I am not a fan of this. I mean, as much as I want Picard to have a son, I don't want Picard to be the last one. Seeing him cry in Generations, saying there will be no more Picards because they killed off Renee and his brother from family, which still pisses me off to this day. I'm okay with that. I'm okay, but I just don't like this execution. Like I am not liking Jack.
Oh, there's a good question. Stop George is killing it.
Yeah, Stop George is killing it.
I think that lines up with sort of what Alex was saying. Is why do they even need Jack?
Can someone tell me? Yeah, can someone tell me why they needed to do this during the Starfleet Day event? If they are all compromised on all ships, why does it matter when they do it? Maybe I don't know. Maybe they have to be in close proximity. I don't remember. I'll have to look for some throwaway line somewhere. So I'm sure they probably. Okay, I don't know if they did.
No, it doesn't. No, it's just so they can make their stupid symbol.
Is what the formation symbol?
Well, it's just so they can have their shot of 18 million Star Destroyers with the same. I'm sorry, starships. That's it.
Oh God.
That's it. It's like this. Does it run out? Why are we panicked to get Jack by Star? It's like
because it sounds cool, Steve. Starfleet Day. It's like, yeah, come on. Who isn't excited for that?
You're right. Exactly.
Dear me.
You know what would work really good? I guess an Armada. A portal gun. Oh shit! Never mind. I forgot there was a portal gun. What am I talking about? That doesn't exist anymore.
Portal gun. What portal gun? What are these things? What are these things you were making up, Steve?
Those changelings things had it. Whoever the hell they are.
Changelings. Where are they? What are they? Where? There's no changelings. It's all Borg. Jeez.
Must have watched a different.
It's like saying like Camelin. What's that?
I thought changelings had infiltrated Starfleet. I thought they were in control of Starfleet now.
Yeah, right.
Did you just forget about that.
No. Shapeshifters, changelings. No, what changelings are you talking about? The Borg. It's the Borg. It's the Borg. We're behind everything.
I thought the Borg were in control of Starfleet.
The Borg are.
Yeah,
Were,
changelings,
I don't know.
changelings. Whatever.
The next week will be the Pa race. Okay, that's pushing it. So.
Oh boy,
Alex, you've been quiet. Got anything to add?
Save us, Alex. Come on.
Save us. Maybe you're the bright center of the white cloaks.
Yeah.
I just the one thing that I find so funny is you said it earlier on there, Toriel. You said we do the Borg every season now, and seasons 1 and season 2 of this show were so bad that we've just apparently decided we just are going to ignore the 2 conclusions in which the Borg became peaceful and loving. They just don't care. I mean, they just legitimately threw the script out the window. I kind of love it. Like, let those 2 seasons die the anonymous death that they so richly deserve. Not even remembered by their own show.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, am I crazy? Because I distinctly remember the Borg going forward and deciding to assimilate people who volunteered, and they were going to convince people with feelings. Like, that was an actual thing that season 2 of this show did.
Yeah, with Agnes Girardi, the murderer.
Yes.
Please tell me the good Borg are going to show up and fight the bad Borg.
Are the good Borg and bad Borg?
You might be onto something. You might be on it. Maybe they'll show up and the tentacled and these squid tentacled evil giant AIs from another dimension that we're going to destroy all organics in the galaxy in season 1. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe they'll come back too.
No, they're the Borg too, Napoleon. Come on.
The Borg.
Everyone's the Borg.
It's over. Everybody's
we are
the
Borg.
Now.
We are Borg. You will be assimilated.
Geordie's daughter said it really well. We are Borg.
Oh, so we get the new line right here. Your armada has been added to our own. Your weak and willful will soon be eliminated. Your strongest have already been assimilated. We are Borg. Starfleet now is Borg. There you go. I wrote it down. I wrote down word for word what they were saying. So
# fleet formation. Boom.
All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. So the only people that are assimilated are under 25. So the Borg are fucking ageist bigots.
No.
Oh my
God.
Fucking Star Trek got red-pilled. Yeah.
Hail Nathan. How you doing, man?
Nathan.
I will. I said before. I kind of miss when Star Trek had political messages. I would like to apologize to everyone. I was wrong. Can we go back? Because to all the people that say we don't like politics and television because it's never our politics. They decided to put my politics into this one, and nope, still not good. Still take that shit out.
So, oh my god. I'm trying to work my way through this episode in my head, and I'm like having trouble remembering what.
Don't do it, Steve. It'll break you. Break your mind.
There were certain things where it's like okay, so them escaping. Like, I'm talking about the crew escaping. Did they kill all the Borg in the hallway, or did they just stop shooting? Because I'm pretty sure they just stopped shooting so they could have a conversation.
When the turbo lift kept stopping, like random floors and opening, and there were Borg-controlled Starfleet coming towards them. It seems like hi. Close the door.
That's why I said to reporters, like, the Borg now have the bridge, right? The whole ship is controlled from the bridge. Why?
Yeah, they could lock them down.
Why are the elevators working? They would have shut them down.
And not only that, he uses the comm to say, "Hey, everybody's surviving. Come down to the maintenance section."
Borg's like, thanks.
And we're gonna escape through the maintenance. We're gonna escape through the maintenance.
We're over here.
They can hear you. Yeah, they can hear you, right? I mean, why do you think in Wrath of Khan, Kirk had Spock exaggerate their situation?
And at least in the movie, like, look, I see the movie. At least they're like creeping around, trying to avoid them, and like when they see them, they shoot them few, and then they figure out, and then they run. They get in the freaking vents, and they're like, because there's no hope because like they have the ship.
Yeah.
They control everything, but no, they're just going up and down. Hey, we're gonna go to the let's go to the whatever deck. We got to get some booze before we left, so we're gonna go to the holodeck.
Picard was carrying a sign, Steve, with a big arrow, pointing at him like.
I'm surprised they didn't go to the holodeck because it's on a closed circuit and just sort of lock it in there and be like, well, we'll just drink ourselves to death.
I'm disappointed we didn't see the bar. We didn't see the bar for 3 episodes. I mean, maybe that's why the quality went down because we didn't get the bar. We didn't see the bar again.
I wish I was in that bar right now.
Think when he said, "Okay, everybody, meet us down on the maintenance deck," was the Borg being like, "Okay, so vent the maintenance deck, so they can't breathe."
Right.
No, okay. That had to have been a trick, right? There's no way they would be dumb enough to tell us
the Borg
where they were going.
The Borg are just looking at each other on the bridge going, what? No.
Did he just tell us where they're going?
Did they just see they're going there?
It must be a deception. It must be a deception.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, they were sitting there like, okay, so the one place we know they're not going then is maintenance, so we don't have to vet maintenance.
Check the bar. Quick, check the bar. They're in the bar.
Oh, but really, did they just stop shooting? Or did they kill all the Borg? They just stopped, right?
They just stopped.
Where exactly? On the maintenance deck or where?
When
exactly?
they're in the hallway, right after Shaw dies.
Yeah.
Oh, they stun them all. Or Raffi stuns the last one.
Stop it! There were like 5 in the hallway, so she just shoots them all at once.
Then they must have fled, or I don't know.
I
have to rewatch that.
Them all.
She stunned them all, Steve. She stunned them with her awesomeness.
You're right, Gray. I'm sorry. What am I talking about? She did the bullet.
The only reason why Raffi and Seven stayed behind was so that the 7 main cast of the Next Generation could have their moment alone on the Enterprise D. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why that happened.
Pushing back.
Talk about chairs and carpet.
Pushing back. No. That's not the only reason.
The
other reason is so they can save the Titan with the power of love.
I was going to say 7 of 9 had to be given the ship by Shaw.
7, and I guarantee you, 7 and Raffi are going to take back the Titan next episode. They're going to do it themselves. They're going to take it over. They're going to knock them all out, and they're going to sit on the bridge and be like, "We have the Titan. Fight back, you old willful floppies."
So
bullshit.
What is going to be more ridiculous? Raffi and 7 of 9 taking back the Titan, or the Enterprise D destroying all 800?
I have a theory. I have a theory that Jack is somehow going to free himself, and he's going to Arya Stark the Borg Queen. And when he Arya Starks the Borg Queen, the entire fleet will everybody will be back to normal.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're right. That's what's going to happen.
Of course, that's going to happen.
And so now the thing is, everybody got assimilated. So, Profi, you were saying that maybe Sidney LaForge will get him to fix himself, or he thinks about Sidney. He thinks about so power of love. He thinks about Sidney, and then he frees himself. His eyes are no longer black. He frees himself from the thing, and he's just going to go and then he's going to kill the Borg Queen like the Night
Huey
King.
Lewis is going to be like the power,
and then Huey Lewis is going to be like, hey, excuse me, you're just too darn loud.
Yep,
because he's in the Borg cube with
but like them. And that's absolutely what's going to happen, right? We all know it. He's gonna overcome the Borg Queen and save the day. But
he's going to put them in the upside down, isn't he? I think right at the end.
Right. I mean, right. I mean, might as well
through the door.
My question is the crew of the Enterprise have forgotten about him.
Yes. No, they. Oh, darn, Jack's gone. Well, we got
Jack's
better
gone.
guys.
About who?
Yeah, he's gone. Who?
Forgot about who, right? And then their decision is to go fight 800 starships and an assimilated Earth, because don't get that shit twisted. Earth is gone.
Like they were like, you see the shot, you see the feet of Ensign Esmar. She's the one that has the gun, who initially had the gun pointed at her, but they killed Lieutenant Tavine instead in the last episode. So now she's the one that's sitting in the captain's chair, and she's basically saying Titan is under full control of the Borg. Take down the space dock and take out the orbital defenses. And then they were encroaching on Earth, you know. So I mean, by the time they get back, they're fucked. I mean, honestly, like, time is of the essence, you know. You don't, and we're supposed to be feeling this urgency. We're supposed to be in an episode like this where everything's going to shit. A good show would have us feeling the urgency of wanting to see them get on with this. I mean, it was cool. I mean, it was cool seeing the Enterprise D, but they're just. It just felt like the actors were just there fawning over it instead of them, you know, being the characters and saying we have to help them or our way of life is going to cease.
Yeah.
If we get a last Starfighter moment, if the Enterprise D goes out, does a Death Blossom, I may actually cheer. Have you guys seen Last Starfighter? Oh,
I don't remember.
I love that movie. Sorry,
I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah, in the chat, I think it was George brought up a phenomenal point. Why did they go get the Enterprise D and not the Defiant? Like, a lean, mean, specifically built for its Borg killing machine, but instead we grabbed the Star Trek.
Oh, was it there too?
Yeah, Enterprise, yeah, the Defiant, all the ships. The Defiant was there. The Voyager is there. Almost every ship from the other shows.
Look, okay, I get that, but why do they think they have a shit's fucking chance of anything? 7 of them on a starship. 7 of them
on a Galaxy class starship.
On a starship
that houses 1,000 crew.
800 Borg ship or 800 Borg controlled ships in an assimilated Earth. Why is their decision to go back to Earth? They need to figure out another thing to do to try and save Earth or get help to take Earth back. Not let's go. We're analog now. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, Voyager does have the technology. That's true. At the end of Voyager, they had Batman technology. They had the Batman shield from the future. They were able to get past the Borg cubes in the transwarp conduit. That's how they got home. So yeah, Bandit's correct.
So wait. Hold on. Okay. I'm catching up here. I'm not a Star Trek person. There are now 2 ships at this museum that have technology to fight the Borg specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've gone and taken the retrofitted.
We went and got the Star Trek equivalent of a 1979 Trans Am. Nerdporial, my neighbors are now mad at me because when there were 7 people crewing the Enterprise D, Lady Balefire shouted angrily loud enough that they came and checked on us.
No shit.
7 people.
Guys, with 7 people, it makes no sense.
I said the exact same thing. Didn't I say the exact same fucking thing? I'm like, how are they going to fly this starship? There's 7 of them, and they're all like 80. Like, how are they going to do this? Like, it's impossible. And somebody said, like, somebody's
first episode I watched, and I'm having a moment. Like, I can't. I just can't.
I
Steve, you're being ageist. Stop being ageist. Come on, man.
Well, they did it first. They did it first. I'm just following suit.
Excuse me. How about you, Gray? Any thoughts? Any thoughts on
Oh my
on any of
gosh.
this?
Oh, what? Sorry. No. My thoughts are gone. My brain is broken. I don't know what I saw in it anymore because I was enjoying it.
You were
first
you were
episodes.
the bright center of the universe on this
I know.
panel. You saw stuff. There were things you liked. There were things that
The
we all
writing,
there were
so bad.
we were all hit. I was hit by
Well-
nostalgia. The only person that wasn't affected was Steve
So
because
I guess my
Steve is
question with that is do you think that's so? Can you go back and watch the old ones and still enjoy them, or do you think this has now affected?
Oh,
your
yeah.
judgment of the other
Oh, I mean, also the one thing that just keeps me, even though I rewatch it, the one thing that just keeps me bawling is Data, but that's because of because of my history with Nemesis and especially season 1 of Picard. I mean, that season just broke my heart. But I mean, I really like the Roe episode. Like I like the Roe stuff in that episode. I didn't like the Raffi stuff, but the Roe stuff in the episode I liked.
Yeah, Rose. That's good.
But I don't know if I don't think I'll enjoy it. I don't think I'll enjoy it. Like one thing I must have rewatched the original series. I must have rewatched TNG. I must have rewatched the movies, the first 10, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. I must have rewatched all of those at least 4 or 5 times. Well, probably more for Deep Space Nine and TOS, but I'm rewatching episodes now, and they still hold up, and they've been a massive palate cleanse to watching this series. I mean, if you like this series, if you like Picard, a lot of people like it. I mean, I was listening to Mr. Burnett's stream yesterday, and they brought up the Outcasts, and I watched the Outcasts today, and oh my God, that episode's so relevant. It's like extremely relevant, more relevant than I'm comfortable to admit. like they talk about pronouns, like personal pronouns, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So that's a Trek port I want to talk about with, and we'll go full politics in that one. But it's crazy because even that episode, with how relevant it is, I still enjoyed watching that one more. So it's just how the episodes are written. It's like how the characters are written, how long the scenes are. The pacing is very important, and everything just has to match up with what's going on.
Go back
keep
and watch
it
a random
interesting.
episode, Voyager, DS9, even original series, anything. Just a random one, and it's so much better. The difference is huge.
Well, yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that aren't doing that. I think there's a lot of people that are watching this and going, "It's better than season 1 and 2," and it's not woke, which I don't know about that. I think the
It
woke
is better
just
than 1
hidden.
and 2, yeah.
I've heard
that's a lot of it. It's
Yeah.
better than 1 and 2, or people are just taking to that. It's one of those. I know Napoleon, one of the things he did was he went back and what, because I was one of those. I don't know if this is a return to form, right? And he went back and watched. He's like, wow, it's way different, like way different, like just writing wise, right? It's just, it makes sense. They're thinking
Because
about,
I thought maybe
think about what they're doing.
I'm too, like, here's the thing. I wanted to keep myself in check as much as possible. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm being too biased. Maybe it's because of baggage from seasons 1 and 2 and from watching Strange New Worlds and everything, or heck, from Steve, maybe this is an echo chamber. So I rewatched these episodes, these Picard episodes, and I rewatched some of the older stuff to see if there's a difference. And there's a major difference in total structure. And it's just, I like the other structure. I don't know if people, the thing I'm curious about that people, especially people are embracing all the, the newer Trek shows. I'm just curious if they care about the older structure, if they just feel the older structure is somehow just outdated at this point.
Well, there were still what 3-part miniseries and stuff like that. It's one of those things. It's like, it's just because it's a the 1 episode structure. Yeah, I get that works. That's cool, but it's still, you get your start, your middle, your end. You get your plot to actually, events happen and they make sense, and this leads to that, and this leads to that, then it builds up to that, and then conclusion. this is all. There's none of that. Like it's all over the place. It's like you have to fill in the blanks yourself, because they just didn't take the time to do it, or they didn't fit it in their info dump. And that's just not good writing. That's just lazy. It's do the work. Like, there's so much stuff you could get rid of to actually make some of these things that, like, the transporter thing should piss a lot of people off, because they're actually pretty close to getting something coherent there, and they just didn't do the work. They just didn't do the work to get it done, because, like, even though they've made up the whole Borg DNA thing, it's like, okay, but at least it's like, if you do the work and show, like, something that shows how they actually are accomplishing this with the transporters, and not just, trust me, they're doing it. Okay? No, show me how they're doing it. Just at least just show me on one starship how it happened. Something, right? Just show me.
Yeah, show us.
And then,
I agree.
like, oh, okay, fine. That part is now makes sense. It's now coherent. It's an
that
actual.
Would take work, Steve, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but
they're
it's an
going to
actual.
tell.
It's an
They're
actual
just going to
plot
tell you
point.
instead of
And
showing
Alex,
it.
didn't they do that in early Trek?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, DS9 especially. I remember there were seasons where you'd be on episode 14, and all of a sudden they'd call back and be like, "Oh, that's why in episode 3, we established this particular bit of technology or whatever." And it's Steve's 100% right. Just not doing the work, because
foreshadowing, setup, yeah.
Yeah.
That used to do that, didn't they?
Yep, and steps 19 and 20 are fine. The transporter doing the DNA switch, and the DNA switch causing mind control. Okay,
okay, it's a good idea. Yeah,
just go back and do steps 1 through 18 to set up 19 and 20.
Help me believe you. Like, just help me. Just give me something. Just to make it possible. Like, you haven't.
I agree. But we have it is time now. We have our first guest. So I want to welcome Mr. Mike, Pacific 414. How you doing, sir? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing well. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
I've lost some brain cells, but I'm okay.
Feeling better for talking with everybody about this. Much better.
You know what? That's what we need. We need to talk about it together, because there are things about this series that I've been watching it with Lord Crit and Cash Money 007 that have just infuriated me.
So, Mike, you've had an even longer history with Trek than myself. I think wasn't Voyage Home like the first movie I think you saw in the theater?
Yeah, The Voyage Home was actually the first Star Trek movie I saw in class. I was in the third grade at the time, and we're talking 1987. So that was in the day of VHS tapes, and in my class, my teacher was a big Star Trek fan, and she had just got the VHS, and she said, "We're having a movie day, and we're going to watch this movie right here." She didn't tell us what it is. She just put it into the VCR, turned on the TV, hit play, and it was The Voyage Home. And I was already starting to fall in love with Star Trek to begin with. So to actually watch The Voyage Home with characters I was already familiar with, I was excited for it.
And it was 1987. Didn't something else in the Star Trek franchise come out in 1987? Isn't something related to Picard?
Yes, TNG.
Tell us about your history with TNG. Did you watch it the moment it came out?
I didn't watch it the moment it came out. I started watching it in 88, but I can't remember if it was while the first season was still showing new episodes, or if the second season had already begun and I was playing catch up. But I started watching TNG and really didn't get hooked onto TNG until Yesterday's Enterprise in season 3.
Not even Sins of the Father?
It wasn't until later that I got hooked onto Sins of the Father, where Worf started becoming my favorite character, because what also started happening at that time too is Next Generation was finding itself in syndication. So any episode I hadn't seen before, I was able to catch in reruns, in syndication.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those things where I had to be there each and every week watching an episode of TNG, because I was still going back and watching the original series. On the original series, it was Tomorrow is Yesterday. That's the episode that got me hooked on to the original series.
So, Mike, I have a question for you. Like, overall, what did you think of The Next Generation? You obviously said Yesterday's Enterprise was the episode that really got you into it. What did you like most about the Next Generation? And I'll even about, early Star Trek in general.
What I liked about early Star Trek and Next Generation and the subsequent series, I'll even add that to it, Brian, is the fact that the crews worked together. They tried to solve a problem together. They didn't just, go out there on their own saying, I'm the best captain there ever is, and everybody else needs to bow before me. No, they didn't do that. If there was an issue at hand, they discussed it. If there was an issue with the Klingons, they discussed it. Kirk, he played chess with the Klingons in the original series. And he mastered it. Picard, he used diplomacy. And he used his crew to their full advantage, because without your crew, you're nothing. No captain is good by themselves. It's about their crew. And that's what Star Trek always was. It didn't matter if it was Gene Roddenberry writing it, Rick Berman, Michael Piller, Ronald D. Moore. I can go on with the writers, but they made sure that you knew no matter what crew you were watching, they had to learn about each other. They had to be able to work with one another and also respect the chain of command, which is something Kurtzman Trek does not do.
Chain of command. What's a chain of command? Did you like any of this, Mike? Sorry, did you like?
That was going to be my next question.
Sorry.
Did you now? You didn't. I mean, has there been out of all the new Trek? Has there been any new Trek that you've liked?
No.
Not counting this season. Okay, so
no. Because when Discovery premiered, no, I will admit, when they made the announcement about Discovery, I was excited about a new Star Trek series. Once I started watching it, I'm going, no, this doesn't happen until the 24th century. No, Kirk and Spock and crew were the first ones to do this. I was finding contradictions and things that just didn't line up with canon.
Oh, I mean, wasn't the entire point of Star Trek Discovery to retcon everything so that Michael Burnham was basically Space Jesus, responsible for every important moment in Starfleet history? Like, that, towards the end of it, that kind of seemed like the point of Star Trek Discovery.
It did. I mean, especially when she puts on that Red Angel suit, her Iron Man suit, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you're right.
Or because you and I have talked about this, Brian. The season 2 finale, where you have all those shuttlecraft coming out of both the Enterprise and Discovery.
Dude, I saw
where are
that.
they storing all those shuttlecraft?
Yeah, where are all these drones that never existed in the original? This is supposed to be before the series.
I saw that. I was like, wait a second, this is Star Trek? What is
this? And it didn't even look good. Like, it looked terrible. Like, the CGI looked bad.
It was like watching J.J. Abrams, of course I know, because it's Secret Hideout, and Alex Kurtzman, of course it is, but also a Michael Bay film where there's a whole lot of crap going on screen, but you can't make heads or tell, okay, what's that supposed to be? What's that supposed to be? There's no organization in the fights. It's not like during DS9, especially during the Dominion War, where you would have Cisco say, okay, I need attack squadrons 4 and 5 to go over to this point right here. I need this attack squad over here. And then you would see the various fleets go to their designations. It's like taking back Deep Space Nine and, Sacrifice of Angels.
Dude, that episode, always on the edge of my seat with that one. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
It's so crazy, but you know what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't see a whole bunch of crap on screen, and you're still trying to decipher what's going on. You see the Cardassian Dominion fleet. You see the Federation fleet. And you see the Federation fleet getting their ass kicked until the Klingons show up.
Yeah, that's true.
I will challenge you. Michael Bay, first of all, would never allow CGI as bad as in New Trek. And also, Michael Bay would never allow any uggos in his movies.
There it is. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Look, man, at least you know Michael Bay is a national treasure, okay? Come on. What are we talking about here? Like, that's the only pushback you're gonna get. Like Bad Boys, I mean, come on. You got what else? You got Transformers. There's some Mega Fox with their spoon thumbs.
The Island.
The Island, dude. I watched The Island last night. Oh my God, Scarlett Johansson in that movie.
I was going to say, there's no way. Alexandra Daddario would be Michael Burnham if Michael Bay was making that movie.
Oh, my God. I would have watched that show.
Yeah, so would I. So I have to point at the elephant in the room, Mike. You know it as well as I do. We were all talking about it for a while. I talked about it on your stream, I think last week, because I needed to vent because I was super duper upset. But this new season's gotten a lot of hype. I'm watching it because of that hype from several people. Started with Mr. Burnett about 6 months ago. I actually got excited for this season based on the fact that Mr. Burnett was a heavy detractor of New Trek in general. He said, this is my intro every episode. Him saying that this is a return to Star Trek. This is a return to what made it good in the first place. And I'm watching this and I'm seeing that although it's not as boring, the writing quality is not there. The setup is abysmal, and it doesn't have the same structure. It doesn't even have, as Daniel would say, it doesn't have the same heart. So what is your take on this, on Picard season 3?
It's all member berries. That's all it is. It's, hey, remember the Ruskin flute? Have we got it there? Remember that picture of the Enterprise, the Galaxy class in Picard's ready room? Not only do we have it there, but in the final shot of this very episode, VOX, where the Enterprise is warping out of the system, they try to align it just right so it looks like that painting.
I didn't even think about that. Good catch, Mike. Good catch. I didn't even think about that. Holy shit. Oh my God. No, now that's down. Maybe that's why I had. Maybe subconsciously that's why I made the thumbnail the way I did. But I mirrored it though. So
hold on. I have a comment. I need to comment. But things like that should infuriate people even more. Okay, because those are little attentions to details that should be that are is somebody that cares about and knows about this product, this franchise. So you're going to put that much care and attention to detail into one shot, but you cannot write a coherent story that lets you earn these shots. That should piss people off even more.
That's the thing, Steve. Even when I've been watching with Cash and Crit and Phil McCracken, we've all said they're not earning these moments. These moments where we're supposed to feel sorry for our character or feel sorry for the loss of, Ensign Rowe. I always refer to her as Ensign Rowe, even if she was a commander now. But when they get these moments, they're not earned.
Well, I think the latest one is we were just talking about was 7 of 9 and Shaw. That whole you're now the captain. It's like, what the hell? What is that? You hate her. Like, where did this respect come? Like, you guys have what is happening? Like, this is not an earned moment. This is just, we want 7 of 9 to be captain now. So
well, they did. I mean, I'll play devil's advocate again. They did work together to dispatch that one shapeshifter.
Yeah, they worked together one singular time. And this show And I think a lot of it is because of the difference between the episodic and the sort of this season-long arc. This show thinks one conversation is enough to justify every emotional beat. And, if you have any experience with Star Trek, or even, Jesus Christ, if you have any experience with television before the streaming era, you're watching this like, what do you know? That was not earned.
No. He spent like 3 episodes hating her. Like, just ragging on her.
Well, not only that, when we find out that Starfleet supposedly tortured the changelings during the Dominion War, I'm thinking, that's a bunch of bullshit. Remember the reaction of the DS9 crew when they found out about the virus, and they were appalled by it.
Yeah.
It stood against everything that Starfleet stands for.
And our heroes in that series were the ones that got the solution and implemented it. So our heroes in DS9 were the reason why the Dominion did not become extinct, or the founders did not become extinct.
So when I heard addicts say that one of their own had to steal the cure, bullshit. Bashir administered it to Odo. Odo took it back to the Great Link, and when he joined the Great Link, the changelings in the Great Link were cured.
Yeah, they lured Sloan to DS9, and they captured him, and then they went into his head to find the formula for the
Bashir and O'Brien.
Yeah, so like you're assuming like she was talking about Odo, but Odo just administered it to the link, and managed to get the female shapeshifter to end the war.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a very important part of the finale of DS9.
Yeah. And here's another thing I have a problem with. Why the fuck, and I'm sorry about the language, but
go ahead, swear.
Why the fuck are you taking this Galaxy class that's almost 40 years old? Yeah, maybe the Syracuse part of it has technology from the Dominion War that might be able to fend off a couple ships.
Is that where the Syracuse is from? I was wondering. I didn't have the time to look at the Syracuse.
I don't know. I'm just taking a guess here. But why the fuck are you going back to Earth? Head to Deep Space Nine. Use the relay on the other side of the wormhole to get in contact with the Dominion. And yeah, you can't show them on screen, but get in contact with Odo and have a Dominion fleet come and help the Enterprise.
That would have blown me the fuck away.
No, we're going to Earth.
They just don't have the budget.
I know.
We're going to Earth. We're going to take on 800 ships that are all interlinked.
Or if you don't want to bother the Dominion and the Gamma Quadrant, contact the Klingons.
Look, I would think this is a big enough emergency that the whole galaxy would want to know and try and stop this, because they just assimilated the whole fucking planet full of billions of people. I'm pretty sure this is a this is disastrous for the whole universe. Yep. Like, if anything's going to bring people together, it would be this, I would think. But
even just a quick email. Hey guys, you might want to check your transporter code.
And also, I saw a bit of your guys' reaction last night. And Steve, I agree with you 100%. These 7 people on a Galaxy class starship, no. You got 100, 200, 300, 400 people on that ship, because you're going to need somebody down in engineering. You're going to need somebody in the torpedo room and all the key areas of the ship.
Well, even if it's like, okay, they can fly it with 7, but they're going into combat. It's like even if they can fly it with 7 people, they're about to go into fucking combat with a whole bunch of starships. They need more people. And the thing that's even more aggravating about it, I think, was Napoleon said it. They're at a fleet museum. There's gotta be, do you see the size of that? That's basically a star base. Like, there's gotta be people that they can go grab and say, dude, we just lost Earth. You're now part of the Enterprise crew. Get on here.
Yeah. Or not just take the Enterprise. You saw an Akira class starship there. You saw the Defiant. You saw the Enterprise A, you saw Voyager. Get those old ships. Get people on those old ships that aren't at the age of 25 or younger.
And you can put Riker on another ship to command another ship. Like, you got at least 2 captains there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like they did in Redemption Part 2, just spread out the officers, give them commands of ships, right, Mike? Remember,
Exactly.
like Data was in command of one ship. What was it, the Rutledge? I think it was the Rutledge, I believe, and yeah, do that. And
This is why I think
Well-
like that's why I think like a bunch of you guys like I don't think I don't know that I'm qualified, but like you guys that know Star Trek backwards and forwards, I really think it would be a cool idea if you guys all sat down after it's 10 episodes, and you sit down and you take the core of what they were trying to do, and then you put a coherent story together that actually makes sense. Because I truly believe there is a story in there that could make sense. They just didn't know how to do it. And I think it's sort of like what I did with, like I said it a few times, me and Daniel, when we did our Prey review, like at the end of that, we sort of used their rules and their world. And we just sort of spitballed and put a plot that actually is like, okay, this is a movie I'd watch. It actually makes sense. It doesn't betray anything, and it makes everybody still fill their roles. I think there's an interesting idea in this. They just didn't know how to do it at all.
Yeah, well, you know what, Steve? Last night when we were watching this episode, I had said to Cash and Crit, I said, I bet the three of us could write it, not just an episode, but an entire season that's better than this. And another thing I have a problem with is all the ships being networked together. Who in Starfleet security?
I think we lost you.
No, he makes an excellent point, though. Like,
Yeah.
First contact, you're attacked by the Borg. Then you're in the Klingon War, and then you're in the Dominion War. Don't you think Starfleet would have security protocols that would say, no, we don't want our ships to be compromised in case we do get attacked by the Borg?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I can't log into
It's like saying, oh, here's my credit card number, everybody. There you go. Make some charges.
right. I can't log into my work's network on my personal phone because of security reasons. But Starfleet is going to connect all of their ships on the same network. Like, Jesus Christ.
And if you want to know, most of these episodes, I either given them a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, or 5 out of 10. Nothing higher than that.
There you go. So, Mike, I really appreciate you joining us and just kind of venting, just kind of venting, your frustration and and at the same time telling us, the core of why you love Star Trek. And it's pretty much the same
Star Trek because it's optimistic approach to the future. The betterment of humanity, not just one particular group of humanity, all of humanity.
Yeah, and just the stories that just have been explored, that just gives you food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's like you don't really get that with the serialized story. I mean, we're just getting too much.
There's too much filler. There's too much filler in these 10 episodes. If you're going to have 10 episodes, then have the story be cohesive from start to finish. Don't deviate from the main story. Mm-hmm. And don't just say, okay, and at the very end, we're going to throw in the Borg. Picard Season 1, Borg. Picard Season 2, Borg. Picard Season 3, Borg. And yes, I understand that Picard was assimilated in the best of both worlds, and it affected him. But still.
What did you think of that payoff? I have to ask before you go. What did you think of that payoff with the Borg semen stuff?
I thought that was the dumbest shit I'd ever seen on any series. It's like, oh, okay, so the aromatic syndrome was basically a seed, and it was passed on to Jack. No, the animatronic syndrome was probably created by Q and all good things.
There you go. There you go. So, oh man. Well, Mike, thanks for doing this. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Short notice.
No problem. I'm sorry about the entire rant, but I'm frustrated.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're here to talk about these, and we're here to listen.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. You all have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Peace out, Mike. Stay
Thanks, Mike.
Nerporio. All right. So now we got Lady B.
Hi guys.
Commandeered Alex's stream. I see. There you go.
Yeah, Alex is like, hey, we're gonna watch this afternoon, and I've talked to you in the chat about this, about my Star Trek was my first love, and I went to Star Trek conventions as a kid, and I watched this, and I'm just like, what is this? This is not Star Trek. And I'm sorry, I've been interjecting as you guys were talking because I heard so many things. And, you know, I think there's a lot of things changed. And things that I liked about Star Trek was, like you said, it's hopeful about the future. And we don't have this dark, nihilistic vision of the future, which I think is reflected in the art direction of the show. It's dark, it's gross. And like Alex said, it's like, oh, we saw the people on the Enterprise D say, hey, the lights are on. I miss the carpet. And
I was just like during the live watch yesterday, and I said this before. I'm like, are they going to turn the lights on? Is it still going to be dim on the Enterprise D? Are they going to do it? And they did it. So apparently, Mr. Metalis paid the light bill on the studio set for once, and that's all from Brett. That came from him. So
yeah, there was so many things that I was questioning about. You know, my mom was a hardcore Star Trek fan. She watched the original series in the 60s and stuff, and she got me watching it. We watched I think I kind of like Mike, where I came into the Next Generation like later on, and then I like watched the earlier episodes of that afterwards, and I was really into it. And I just thought, and I'm just gonna say this because this is my screenwriting person thing here, Star Trek was known for being episodic, and the way that TV production is gone from like episodic, where you can have a standalone episode. And I think what episodic TV did was they made the storytelling really concise, and they made sure that you could tell a complete story in the like 45 minutes or whatever that they got with that. And now everything has gone to episodic. There's serial. So that that's a story that continues over a whole season, and you can't follow the story if you haven't seen what happened before. And I think a lot of that is because of streaming. And I don't think that helps Star Trek a lot, because Star Trek was so much about the concise storytelling. It was so much about like, we can tell this in a way that is understandable in one episode. We don't need to know what happened before, and I miss that.
I do too. And here's the thing, though: you can tell a serialized story and still have the structure of a regular episode. I mean, anime. Yeah, totally. If you've seen anime from the 90s and 2000s, I mean, that's the case. If you've seen shows like 24, heck, Deep Space Nine and Enterprise.
Yeah, exactly. Deep Space Nine was a good thing. Even with Star Trek: The Next Generation, you had these kind of overarching series things. Like you'd have the lore stories, you'd have like Q coming. Worf's story with his son and his wife and all of that. Like, you could do that and still have the serialized thing. And they've just gone into this thing. And again, we get like the modern like feelings in hallways. Like
and these scenes are long. Like, I mean, like, okay, you've done screenwriting. How long is a scene usually supposed to be? 2 minutes at most?
Yeah, it's really like fast. And the way was like Star Trek was that it's meant for broadcast television, so it's like a 5-act structure, and you have like the 10-minute initial thing, you have 15-minute, and then I think 15-minute if I remember correctly, and then a 5-minute wrap up because of how the TV commercials are. And I think the pacing was something that was really bad with the show. And like, I'm sorry, and I was telling Alex this when we were watching together, I'm like, let's look at all the stupid trope stuff that this show has. We have Picard being like resurrected from being dead. we have the long lost child, love child, that like just came out of nowhere.
I mean, as much as I get why they did that, I think the execution was not the best. And like I agree with Prophet, we could probably come up with some better ideas. And the thing that if we're gonna come up with a better idea, we have to have there has to be a better reason for Beverly to do what she did. Like I don't like her because of that.
Just have her. She gets stranded or something on a planet or something. Like I don't know.
We could come up with we could brainstorm a million ideas that I think are better than what we got in Picard.
What could have happened, and it's like there's just it's just so silly, and like you guys said earlier, it's like it's not who Beverly is as a character that would do this, and it's not who Jean-Luc is as a character to just abandon their child.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. In this episode, the fact that Picard looks over at Beverly Crusher and says, "It's a testament to you how long Jack held out," and it's like, what? What do you? Huh? No. What do you mean? It has nothing to do with her. Like,
it's
you remember
the strong woman stuff. Like, I'm a strong single mom thing. Like,
Jack is fighting the Borg off. It doesn't have anything to do with Beverly Crusher. Like, it's him. Like, what do you mean?
I have to say something, and I'm going to try to be kind of vague about this, but one thing that, like, screenwriters talk about when you do something, like, especially if it's current events, you don't want to be too on the nose where it's too blatantly obvious that you're referencing something that's happening in real life. And I'm just watching this, and we have the Cult of Vogue people where this like DNA insertion only happens to people under 25. And I'm just thinking, like, you gotta say, like, at least the command staff and at least half of the crew of these ships are over 25. Like, that was just unintentionally hilarious. But the other thing that I picked up was that, like, we have a transporter code, and I think we've seen enough episodes of Star Trek to know that, like, the transporter code can have mistakes and it can rewire your DNA and screw things up. And what's happening here is they're taking like a sequence of DNA and inserting it into people that use the transporters. And I'm just like, this is way on the nose for current events, and I'm probably just going to leave it at that because I think we all know what I'm talking about. And I was just so unimpressed with the science of this, because I think Mike was saying this is like they used to have like NASA consultants and scientists consulting in Star Trek. And I remember I'd buy the scripts from Star Trek conventions, and they'd say, like, they didn't know what they wanted to put for the dialogue, and they'd say technobabble because they wanted to get the science consultants to consult something. And what I saw in this episode was like, it's really hard for me to believe that this is happening in the 23rd century, because this is technology that exists now. It's like you can code like a 5-second like GIF into like cellular DNA. So I mean, it's really hard for me to buy that like they wouldn't think that like this DNA insertion thing could happen through the transporter, or that the Borg had this technology of being able to program your DNA to replicate itself into some technocratic hive mind. And I was very disappointed in that.
I got a question for you, Lady B. Now, you said you got into Star Trek in the first place because of your parents. So just tell us, kind of walk us through your history with Star Trek, and then go into your history with TNG a little bit.
Okay, so I remember that my mom, like, she'd watch the original series in the 60s when it came out, and she really liked it. You know, Captain Kirk's like toxic masculinity, really like kind of space opera. And I remember watching TNG really early, and I know I didn't watch the original episodes of it, but I definitely watched it from the middle of it. Like, so it was just probably like the 3rd or 4th seasons, and I liked it a lot. I liked the kind of rationality that I had, that there was a lot of order in the universe, and it was sort of an idealized look at the future. And I didn't like Star Wars because it was so like icky and not nice, and I really got into the Next Generation.
Icky.
Deep Space Nine was my favorite thing ever. Dude, Dr. Bashir and Siddiq Al-Fadi, even though he changed his name to Alexander, he was my first celebrity crush, and I met him on my 13th birthday, and I have a picture with him.
Oh my, nice.
Wait, what's up with your guess? First, shade being thrown at Michael Bay, and now we're calling Star Wars icky.
No,
What
that's
is-
just how I felt as a kid. And then okay.
Well,
no,
it is
I'm
now.
gonna-
Sorry, no, sorry, my bad.
I thought it was like very lowbrow. Like I didn't think it was as sophisticated as Star Trek. And Star Trek was really on like science and being logical, and the characters were different. And I just thought Star Trek was really lowbrow. But then when I got into high school, all of my nerdy friends, they loved Star Wars, and nobody liked Star Trek. So that's when I started getting into Star Wars. And now I can look back as an adult and say, you know, a lot of the shows had really great themes in it, and a lot of them did different things. So like Star Wars definitely was like more of the like mythological stuff, the Jungian and Campbell stuff, and Star Trek was really just offered something different. And I hate woke Star Wars because people don't realize what woke Star Trek, because people didn't realize what Star Trek did in the initial, like when it was first on. It's like it had the first interracial kiss. I remember watching some random episode of The Next Generation, and I'm like, hey, look, there's a guy in the background and he's just randomly wearing a skirt. Like it never needed to put this stuff in your face because they worked it into the universe. And so seeing this as an abomination, I'm just like, what is Jack? Jack doesn't need to talk to like Deanna Troy. He needs to spend an hour with Jordan Peterson and clean his freaking room because he's like a teenage edgelord that's mad at the existence, like mad at the universe for being born. That's the kind of like energy I get from him.
All right, so Steve, you got it. Yeah. I agree.
Baby.
Steve, so you have to take off.
Oh,
Yeah,
take care,
I gotta
Steve.
go to work sick, and yeah.
Don't leave us, Steve.
No,
So,
but-
God's
is,
sake.
there, is there
Gray.
anything you want to
We don't
promote?
get to hang anymore, Gray. I mean, we gotta find a reason to hang, Gray, especially now that you're on the dark side team. At least for this. At least for this.
So, you got anything you want to promote, Steve, before you go?
I don't. I think we're doing Ted Lasso tomorrow. The next 2 episodes, I think. No,
Nice.
Sunday.
Sunday.
What day is it? I
Today's
don't even
Friday.
know. Sunday, I think we're doing Ted Lasso. I think, but
Oh
There you
yeah, Alex is also having me watch that, so it'll take me a while to
Such a
get.
good show.
Yeah.
I
And
love
Max-
that. It's so funny.
I'll have to watch it one of these days.
yeah. So I think Ted Lasso. Then, and once I get better, I got a whole bunch of stuff I want to try and drop, because there's actually like at least 3 off the top of my head really good shows that are actually going right now that nobody seems to be talking about, and it sort of makes me sad because they're very, very good shows, and nobody seems to talk about them. So I'm
What
gonna do
shows
some
are they?
videos on. Well, Ted Lasso, nobody's talking about that. Succession, which I got under
I'm
Porio.
on season 3 now. I'm on season 3.
It's that is such a good show, and then
I've been saying fuck off more now after watching Succession
Fuck
than
off.
ever off. Yeah, just
Logan
fuck
Roy
off. Yeah, just
phrases.
Logan Roy.
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. I should get that. I should clip that for my stream. So Ted Lasso, Succession, and then it's actually just concluding, but The Last Kingdom on Netflix. It's just
It's a movie. That's
the
right.
movie just released yesterday. I haven't even got a chance to watch it, but it's Seven Kings Must Die. It's like the epic conclusion to the series. It's 5 seasons of television, and then I think a 2-hour movie to cap it off. So
Speaking
I don't
of
know how.
releases, and I hate to interrupt you, Steve, but like Return of the King is coming out on theaters. It was out on the 13th, and me and Alex saw it last night, and it was like, oh, so good.
Nice.
But it'll
I know
also be
Nathan
out
saw
on
it
the
too.
Yeah, Nathan
17th.
saw it
So
too.
jealous, Lady
No, the
B.
19th, I think. It's the next Thursday. See
Thank
you.
you.
That's good.
Stop
Thank
George.
you. Thank you, Stop
Stop George is a fan of yours, Prophet. There you go.
Well, thank you. So I'd like to. So I'm hoping the reporter catches up in Succession, so we can talk about Succession, and then if you want, I don't care. I'll talk about it myself, damn you. So like, and there's more. Those are just the 3 off the top of my head. There's good TV out there. There is. I promise. Just Tetris.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's a movie.
That's
but
my
Tetris
favorite video game.
Tetris is a freaking outstanding movie. So that's something else I want to talk about. But yeah,
All right.
but I got to roll. Thank you guys. It's always a pleasure. Lady B, good to see you. And chat, You guys are awesome, and I'm off to the shit plant.
All right, bye, Steve.
Take care, Steve.
Bye.
Feel better.
Take it easy, Steve.
Bye, guys.
All right, now there were 3. Wherever Alex went.
I can't believe this show. I'm just like, what is with Picard? Like, Patrick Stewart seems to do some lines, and I'm just looking at this from an audio engineering point of view because I studied that for a while. But I hear, like, when he's looking at the camera, it's his actual voice, and it seems like they're doing like AI ADR, like when he's not on camera. Just like,
I'm so sorry.
yeah, it's weird.
Like,
Lady B is a simulated
know
Alex.
how it is.
Yeah,
Especially in this
I'm a
last
changeling.
episode.
I'm a changeling.
Oh, a
Talk
changeling.
about how silly that is. It's like, okay, the episode starts off with like the whole like mind thing. We're gonna open this door. We're gonna open this door. Open the door to a mystery box. And
It
the
took so
mystery
long to open. Oh God.
Yeah, you saw, like I said, we were
5 minutes.
all that
Open the
anime inspired imagery that they were showing. They're trying to be as artsy fartsy as possible with all those red, those. I mean, I don't know if those were cherry blossoms or rose petals or
Stranger
something.
Things
Yeah.
with the red
Stranger-
veins and stuff.
that reminded me of Resident Evil 2, and like I was thinking of that, and I'm like, this is so silly. And it's like they open up the door to the mystery box, and well, it's the Borg mystery box. And how did you guys feel about the Borg when they initially came into the series?
I mean, they kept. I was hoping that there was a red herring. It was a diversion for what was really going on.
Me too.
And because you see the. I mean, Shaw talks about Locutus. You hear first minute of the episode on Beverly's ship. You hear the captain's log when they're in the nebula in Best of Both Worlds Part 1. There's a lot of callbacks to Locutus. And so a lot of people were guessing that Locutus was going to come back and Picard was going to be fighting Locutus. No, that's not the case. That's not the case
I'm
here.
just like, wait, they brought Picard back from the dead. Wait, what? This is so bad.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get this, all the ships are interconnected. And
I couldn't imagine why they would do that. And I just kept thinking, it's like, it felt like wokeism almost, because I the way I look at it is like, to me, if you're looking at it from the woke point of view, it's like Star Trek is, or the Starfleet is bad because it's kind of like the civilizing, like light colonizers light kind of a thing. So to me, it's like, are they trying to make them look bad? I don't know.
Did you watch season 1 and 2, Lady B? Picard?
I haven't.
No.
This was the first episode.
Don't do
of
it.
this season. No, my mom's like, Patrick Stewart is way too old. And she's like,
Yeah, he's so frail. He's
Like,
lost his
yeah.
diction as well.
Like the one time that he had agency, there were twice that he had agency was when he yells at Beverly because, well, Beverly just robbed him of 23 years of being a father, which is one of the worst, is like probably one of the worst things you can do to a man. And then you have the and then of course the stuff with Ro, and how he was basically challenging Ro's intentions the entire time. And I actually like that. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I actually liked the Ro and Picard exchange. It was the most Picard I've seen Patrick Stewart play in the entirety of Picard.
I just think that like Jack is such a character that doesn't belong in Star Trek. It's like you don't have those kind of like edgelord, like young adolescent mentality characters where I am just like lashing out at everyone because I have daddy issues, and I'm just like, this
and
is
they
so
establish
good.
that he's a criminal in the beginning of episode 2. Like he's giving weapons to
that's
terrorists to so that they can get medical supplies.
Like,
I'm
can
like,
we talk,
I'm like, are we we're supposed to like this character? And then every time they have a scene with him throughout this season, I get bored. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a boring scene because it's gonna be about him and the mystery behind his issues, and it just feels like the story stands still. The story suffers and stands still as a result, instead of it feeling organic, like an episode of older Trek. Like there are moments where characters are talking about things quite a bit. What made those work, Lady B, versus what we're seeing here in Picard? Because I'm really trying to figure that out myself.
I'm just kind of trying to think of similar situations where we had somebody where there was a question over, I'm doing something to help like rebels or whoever, and I think I'm doing the right thing. And it's kind of like, it reminds me of the kind of moral alignment, like I may be doing something wrong, but it's for the right reasons kind of thing. And they really nailed that in Deep Space Nine because they really built up the world there. They had the Cardassian versus the Bajoran conflict. And it's like, there were a lot of people where they're like, their heart was in conflict with itself because it's like, I have like Starfleet allegiances now and I need to step away from Bajor, but I need to help my people. Or like, you know, we as Cardassians were trying to do stuff that was right for our own allegiances, but like it's causing a lot of pain. And so there was depth there. There was like, you know, like George R. Martin says, like the human heart in conflict with itself there.
Yeah, from Faulkner, William Faulkner.
Yeah, and we don't get this in this series. I don't see what the thing is, and the stuff they say is so silly. Like going, okay, Geordie LaForge has like a like museum, and we're talking about the Enterprise being analog. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? It's like Starfleet's like high technology, guys. This is like, oh yeah, we're gonna rock this like
24th century. Yeah,
the D is like, please, you guys, you have the internet on the Enterprise. Like, you can't pretend that it's not in the collective computer system because that's how technology has always worked, even in the original series.
Yeah, I mean, the D was practically a utopia. Just being on board, you could get whatever you want. You could get like replicated food, even though it's probably total shit, but you could get whatever you want. You could have families on board. Like, it was practically a luxury liner almost and it was the flagship. So
yeah,
I mean,
like, think of the stories we had like Miles and Keiko and Molly. We had like Wesley Crusher, as annoying as he was, and there was some, and like Worst Son, and yeah, the Klingon opera episode that was hilarious.
Yeah, I agree.
Shut
Stop
up,
George.
Wesley.
I agree. Stop George with that very comment. It's all about the mystery in Picard.
Yeah.
And TNG, it's all about the story. Story comes first, and the thought experiment. So whatever ideas, themes, things that will challenge the viewer, give them, like I said earlier, food for thought. Picard avoids them for a cheap carrot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't feel rewarding. It doesn't feel satisfying after you watch an episode.
Because they're building, it's mystery box writing. It's like, it's not like, it matters more about the mystery itself and how the mystery affects people than what are we actually talking about. So you get a bunch of people just kind of like beating around the bush, and we don't actually know what the bush is. But like, Gene Roddenberry and a lot of the people from the original Star Trek series, they wrote for like and worked on the Twilight Zone, and Twilight Zone was so good at doing these episodic, like 20 to 30 minute stories, and they told great concise storytelling. And I think really that's where the writing lacked. And
yeah, Twilight, if it wasn't for Twilight Zone, I mean, between Twilight Zone and Forbidden Planet, we would not have had Star Trek.
Exactly.
Or the original series in the form that it was, or in the form that it was made. So I mean, it owes itself to those two, that movie and that show. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and like even the movies, it's like, I feel like it was funny watching because like Alex is younger than I am, and I'm like, I didn't have the nostalgia bait that he did watching this, because I'm like, I've already seen the Next Generation movies. They got the band back together. I remember that stuff. Like, I'm not letting them manipulate my emotions for this, because it's just so silly.
So I got a question for you. Do you prefer the Next Generation movies to this, or do you think this is better than the Next Generation movies, this season 3 of Picard?
Oh, hell no. Like, I'd take the Next Generation movies, and they weren't even that good. Like, no.
Like, I am totally disappointed with, especially last week, with the Shrike and with the Vadic in general. I had more of a kick with the conflict between the Scimitar and the Enterprise E and Nemesis. I thought that fight was way more engaging and way more menacing.
Okay, I haven't seen this for a long time, but wasn't the guy in Nemesis like somehow related to Picard too?
Yeah, he was a clone.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom Hardy.
So, like, it was Tom Hardy, and so we're coming back to the old like long lost child trope, and I'm just seeing like they're just relying so much on storytelling tropes. It's like we have body snatchers, we have the Borg thing, which to me, like, I always pissed me off watching this as a kid because I'm like, there's no way you can defeat the Borg. But looking at it from a writer's standpoint, it's like you cannot create a character like a villain that is so like omnipotent that nobody could ever defeat it. And I think they kind of wrote themselves in a bit of a corner with that. But like, to bring back the Borg, especially at a time when we're dealing with so much like ideological collectivism, and that is such a thing right now. It's like I said before, it's like what screenwriters call on the nose. It's like, thank you, Captain Obvious. I see what you did there. And it's just like Star Trek has always been better than that.
So I'm taking it based on everything you said that the hype is not justified.
No, not at all. I mean,
what's funny is a lot of people that I either associate with or I followed are saying this is good somehow. So I'm thinking it's probably once again it's because of what Mike said earlier. It's all the callbacks. It's all the callbacks, and it's just because of how
I just don't
old
get
it is.
that Napoleon at all. I can't get why people who kind of respect are just saying it's so good and it gets better and better.
Especially when they're the ones that have, especially a lot of them have been all over Picard seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah, saying
so
how bad it was.
I mean, it's not as boring. But I mean,
they'll get paid off or something. Do you think? Like,
no,
to say
no. It's basically it's wish fulfillment. It's seeing things that you want to see.
Yeah,
seeing
you know
the
what?
Enterprise, seeing Data come back. Data coming back.
What happened to Data? I'm like, is there any explanation to given why he's aged?
Came back because they invented a brother. So Dr. Noonien Soong from TNG's Data's creator. In Picard season 1, they created another character for Brent Spiner because that's what they do. Enterprise, they created Dr. Eric Soong, who is the ancestor of Noonien Soong, and then you get the 3-part the remnants, the remnants of the Supermen in season 4 of Enterprise, and then of course you get Dr. Alton Soong from season 1 of Picard. So they created another Soong for Brent Spiner to play. So this Alton Soong is the biological son of Noonien Soong, the creator, and he's the one that put Picard into the robot, into the golem, at the end of season 1, and then it was him, Dr. Alton Soong, that discovered Picard's Lacuta sperm. And that's what's driving this season.
When you say it, it just sounds so, doesn't it, Lady B? It just sounds crazy.
What?
When you actually explain it.
It's like, okay, we've lost the plot, so we're just going to start making stuff up to fit this in. It's like, I've been reading Lord of the Rings, and I've really enjoyed the differences between the movie and the book because I can understand why they made certain changes in the movie to do certain things. And I'm just like, okay, it's bad when they start like, we can't write this original character because we're not that good characters, or we're not really good writers, and we don't understand the character enough. So we need to just invent new characters that no one can say that we're like cannibalizing or we didn't get it right. We're just going to create something new because we don't have the writing skill to like write this character convincingly. I'm just like,
the fact you remember all that, Napoleon, that's impressive.
Remember what?
What you were just saying about how, Data and Lore and Picard, and how you remember all those things. Jesus.
I know. It's
amazing.
like, I'm sorry. My recollection of Star Trek is really hazy because I was like in high school, and I could be Brian there. I was Brian for a bit.
Yeah, I was in high school. Yeah, I was in high school when Voyager ended. So I remember my 8th grade teacher and me would be talking like season 5 of Voyager as it came out. So it was funny that my teacher and we would talk Star Trek. None of my classmates could relate because they didn't watch. I mean, my classmates didn't watch Star Trek. I mean, I was a weird exception that I got into Star Trek as an 11, 12-year-old. Like I started collecting.
Yeah, I feel like that was like when I really got into it too.
Yeah, I started collecting the original series VHS tapes at the age of 12. And I just started, and because it was never on TV, so the only way for me to watch it was to buy the tapes. So I owned 50 tapes over the course of 8 years, and then when the DVDs finally came out and the seasons came out, then I finally saw the whole show. So it was a long journey, but it paid off. Like the 9 years, like the buildup of 9 years just paid off and everything. So it was a fun feeling, just discovering another Star Trek episode and just seeing it for the first time.
It's like me and
that,
my mom and brother would watch it sometimes, like on reruns, and we're like, "Hey, we haven't seen this really early episode," and I love seeing how the writers kind of developed the characters and how they sort of coalesced into the like later episodes of TNG. And when I first started watching Star Trek, I hated the original series. I thought, this is so horrible. It's like awful. Like Kirk is awful. But as I grew older and I realized what they were doing and how like kind of revolutionary this sort of like format was for a show, I became to appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, and it was just like there was just when I was sixth grade going into seventh grade, summer of '97. They actually showed the original series, so I was actually able to record some of the original series. But the same channel also showed TNG, so there were 3
like
Saturday nights was 3 hours back to back in Chicago of Star Trek. So you had 10 p.m. Central, TNG would be on. Then 11 p.m. Central would be a second airing of what they showed Wednesday during prime time of Voyager. And then midnight Sunday morning, they would show an episode of the original series. So the original series was the one that I really wanted to watch. So I had to wait all the way till I wouldn't go to bed till like 1:30 in the morning. There were a few times my parents caught me doing this. I would sneak out of my room, sneak into the front living room. They had the VCR. We had a sliding door, so I had to really close the silent door, or the sliding door as silently as I could. And then I'd have the TV, turn on the TV and have it turned all the way down beforehand, so that when I turn on the TV, it doesn't make a loud noise. And then I would just set up the VCR, put in the blank tape, and start recording. And I'd be like right in front of the TV with my button on the pause, so that I would not get any commercials.
The commercials,
yeah.
Did you used to pause them out? Yeah.
Yep, I used to pause them out. Yep. That's the good old days. The good old days.
When Star Trek was good. Remember that? The excitement of waiting for a new episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That's right. And it's just, it was fun to be excited. Like I was excited for the Voyager season 6. I was excited. When I was a kid, I loved the Voyager finale. I rewatch it now. I'm like, no. It's not bad. But it's not good. But they need another episode. They need another episode for the finale. But I still enjoyed it. Enterprise really got me. Enterprise really kind of threw me off. I hated the opening song.
Yeah, it's awful.
I'm like, this is supposed to be before the original series. It has too much in common with the other Berman shows. So I was kind of out. But then years later, my friend, one of my friends, he watched Enterprise and he was telling me to watch it. And then I finally decided, I'll get the DVDs. I watched Enterprise. I'm like, I should have watched Enterprise when it was on TV, because I was by that time I was in college. So when the Xindi and the season 4 happened, that was my first 2 years of college. I wasn't really paying attention to it. Well, I was keeping tabs and I was reading up on what the episodes were. But honestly, I should have watched it, because seasons 3 and 4 were good. Even parts of season 2 were pretty good too. They had a call back to Star Trek 6 with the Rura Penthe and the Klingon court and all that, and they had Duras, the ancestor of Duras.
Yeah.
So you had some good stuff in season 2. I don't know how much people like the Temporal Cold War. It was a weird concept, but there were good episodes of Enterprise. I like the Vulcan. There's the Vulcan episode where the 50s. Yeah. There was a lot of good stuff in the mix. It wasn't the greatest, but I'd take Enterprise over the stuff that they make now. Enterprise still had wrote a story.
Yeah, I'm with Mike on this when he said a new episode was coming on, you wouldn't miss it. And I think and I keep saying this, and I know a lot of people I don't think they quite understand what I'm saying when I say the switch from serialization to episodic TV. Made a big difference. It's it's a format change with what happened, because you're moving from something from a broadcast and syndication model, because what happened in syndication is that you wouldn't you could watch the episodes out of order and they didn't have to play it all for you to know it. And then more the production went to I'm just totally getting myself confused. Went to serialization, so you'd have to watch the stuff before it, and they're really trying to do that with Star Trek. And they're not good enough writers to create overarching stories that make sense. It's like it's just it's like the mystery box, and the mystery box is there because they don't know what to do with the characters. They don't know where the show is going, and it's just lazy writing, and I can't stand it.
So I think I could safely say next week. I'm just gonna go on a limb and say this is not going to be this is not going to be a better send off than The Undiscovered Country, which one particular content creators made a bold claim. Because I actually like Star Trek 6 for starters. It's one of it's my second favorite of the films.
It's really good. Yeah.
And it's going to be like they're going to save the day. Jack and Sydney are going to work together somehow to save the day, and
they'll bring all the kids in, and everything will end up being okay. And the people that need to be saved because representation and whatever will be saved. It's like I saw they killed that other like Shaw character.
Yeah, they killed Sean. They killed Shelby. They killed Shelby. So
I'm like, Shelby, seriously.
Yeah, remember Commander Shelby from Best of Both Worlds? You know, she was the weapon specialist that was helping them develop a defense against the Borg. Yeah, they brought her in and they killed her. They even have a conversation with her. They just brought her in. They tried to talk to her. She looked like, huh? And then they shot her. So I'm curious. Do you really think there's going to be time travel next week? Do you think that they're going to undo all the deaths that happened?
I wouldn't be surprised at this point in time.
I am not. I don't know what they're. I honestly, it's gonna be interesting next week, and there's gonna be a lot of there's gonna be a lot of conversation next week. So, Lady B, thanks for hopping on.
Thanks you guys for letting me interject with poor Alex here, and I'm like sitting here trying to make dinner, and I'm hearing stuff, and I'm about myself, and I'm like, this made me so angry, and I hadn't watched anything till I came here today, and he like sat me down and like, okay, we're watching this, and I'm just like.
They did, Daniel. They did. I take it you didn't watch the episode. not that I can hold that against you. I can't. So, oh boy. But yeah, Admiral Shelby outranked Captain Riker. That is correct. So did LaForge. Commodore LaForge outranks Captain Riker. You would think Riker would have been an admiral way by now. Like he was offered a captaincy as early as season 2 of The Next Generation. So he was the first officer before the beginning of The Next Generation. So you would think he'd be an admiral long before this.
And he always chose to serve with Picard because he liked being there. And the two of them challenged each other. And Picard was always there to rein in Riker's impulsivity and to act like a check so he could like mature as a character and a person and everything. And I'm just, this stuff, dude, LaForge going on about like, we couldn't find the nacelle covers. And I'm like, you've gone from saying this thing is barely like seaworthy to like, we're going to go fight the Borg. Okay, guys, cool. Have fun with that and your 7 crew members.
Yeah. So I have to answer this question. Stop, George. Who will they bring back next week to kill? Well, that's obvious. Janeway, or maybe, you know what? I'm surprised they haven't brought O'Brien in because O'Brien was a big part of The Next Generation too.
Where's Keiko? Wait for Keiko to come in. Save the day.
Miles, why am I here in this show? I don't want to be here. I want to be planting my crops in Beijing.
Poor old Miles.
Oh, Miles. Maybe, or, you know what's funny? Maybe they'll torture him. Maybe he was captured by the Borg, and they find him in prison. He's tortured because you know. Remember, Let's Torture O'Brien episode every season of DS9. Remember that?
Yeah,
that would be. I would laugh. You know, Terry. I hope you. I know. I'm sure you're watching the stream. I hope you somehow put that in the series. Let's Torture O'Brien.
Janeway's coming back. Yeah,
Janeway will come back. Save the day.
Oh gosh.
7 of 9 and Raffi together. 3 of them.
So
yeah, Raffi, like
what is with them goo people? What are we gonna do with them goo people? I'm just like, you said goo people. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the language.
I'm like, do they talk like that in Deep Space Nine? And then the goo person that they discover looks just like Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. Like, I'm like, And he's just like, they're gonna kill the Federation. There's a lot of screaming. There's a lot of raw emotion. Like you see frickin' Jack screaming at the Borg Queen. He's like, I believe in mercenary. He points the TOS phaser because they use TOS phasers in the series.
About the phasers. I was like, we've devolved into like technology, so we're back to TOS phasers. I was just like, what?
And then you have the TOS phasers that they're using, and then of course the Titan is not the original Titan, but it is a Neo Constitution class or whatever they call it. So it looks just like the original Enterprise, the original style Enterprise, kind of. Slightly different, of course, because it's Neo instead of Constitution. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a gatekeeper.
I'm just a gatekeeper. Yeah, we'll keep gatekeeping Norporeal because
But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said you're doing God's work, and we have to do that because somebody has to.
Yeah. So all right. So, but yeah, we've been on. God,
I feel for you, Nerdpool. I feel for you because I know you wanted to love it, like me. Kind of, I really wanted to like it, and I was giving it, the biggest chance possible, as you know. But I'm out from 2 episodes ago. They lost me.
Oh yeah, I have to ask Lady B. What did you think of the gangster Vulcan? Stop George. Stop George needs to know. Remember the gangster Vulcan that they get the stuff from about Daystrom Station. So Raffi and Worf pretend to like surrender, but then Worf kills all of the gangster Vulcan's men. The one that was
they lost me with the Vulcans was with the remake of the movie with like Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto, and then they reversed the roles of like Spock and Kirk in that, and I'm like, okay, it's out because that was the whole learning episode was the sacrifice. But yeah,
like he's literally a gangster. Like he's trying to be logical. I thought he was a Romulan because he was emoting.
Yeah, because they changed that. They switched it. There was a switch in the Romulans and Vulcans. I'm like, stop. Just
I'm like, okay, then don't have Vulcans if you don't want logical aliens, then don't use Vulcans. Just I don't know. Whatever. But Lady B, thanks for doing this. And
thank you for letting me vent because I've had a lot of feelings about Star Trek, and you're like my Star Trek person. So.
Well, thank you. I think I'm a lot of people's Star Trek person now. So I just hope that I'm once again. All right, is Alex around?
Alex, come back here.
But like once again, I want to tell everybody who may be watching. If you like the series, we are not here to chastise you for liking the series. Like there are things. I mean, people like things for different reasons. I get that. I mean, there's things that I like that I don't think are good, and that I don't think are good objectively, but I still enjoy them. I mean, the best example is the first Friday the 13th movie. I love that movie, but the movie's shit. So unfortunately, I agree with Gene Siskel, but at the same time, I love it. There you go. So there's a lot of things out there that we like that other people are like, why in God's green earth would do you? And it's just part of being an individual. So like I said, I know a lot of people like all of Star Trek. That's fine too. If there's something you can find that you like, only thing that I ask is that like try to have a conversation. I know Star Trek is very emotional for some people. I know, I understand it. I got emotional at certain parts of this series too. But try to hear other people out who detract from this, who don't like the show, and just listen. Try to understand. We'll try to understand why people like it, but it has to be kind of both ways. Two-way street. I'm not watching this to hate it. I'm watching this because I've been a Trek fan. There was a lot of hype. This is a very and I believe, and the content creator that was putting in the hype, I believed him, and I wanted to give this. I gave the series the benefit of the doubt, and plus, I've looked up. I've read up on what Mr. Matalis has worked on before. He's worked on Enterprise and Voyager. He's written episodes of season 3 of Enterprise that I really come to enjoy. including the Vulcan zombie episode. And one thing I forgot to bring up is that there's a shot where you see a Vulcan, an assimilated Vulcan with the red veins or the red vines on his face, leading others to hunt them. Kind of remind me of the Vulcan zombie episode. I'm sure it might not have been the case, but it just seemed to me that was a callback to that. But so, and I saw Mr. Metalis on the was the Will, I forget what they call the Ready Room. I was really excited to be showing the season to the point where even Will Wheaton himself was uncomfortable. Like I read Will Wheaton's expression towards Mr. Metalis as uncomfortable, but that's just me. And so I wanted to give this series a chance. And I mean, I'm watching through it. I want to see it all because I've heard lots of things from lots of people. And I wanted to see for myself if this is the send-off that exceeds even Star Trek 6. And so I think people that are enjoying this are really enjoying this. And they're just, it's really the nostalgic elements, the things that are being brought back, the attempt to undoing the stuff that's been done in the previous seasons of Picard is, I think, what fans are really clamoring to. I just want to see a story that makes sense and that I can get into, and that's my biggest issue with the season. And plus the ideas and the stuff that makes sense. There's so many things I don't like, and that's why I want to have conversations. I will have conversations if you like the series. So, but once again, if you're listening, thank you. I appreciate you. And so you guys, Alex, Lady B, do you guys have anything you want to plug?
No, not really, but thank you.
Book club tomorrow.
Oh yes, we have book club, Lord of the Rings book club tomorrow with White Club.
Oh yeah, what chapters are you guys covering?
6 through, I believe it's 10 in Two Towers.
Is that the end of book 3?
Yes, the end of chapter.
So you're gonna cover Helm's Deep and Saruman and the Palantir, I believe.
Yep.
All right, nice. Okay, definitely. That I have to. I'm still on. I'm only on chapter 5, book 2, so I'm way behind you guys. You guys are way ahead of me on this. So, all right, but yeah, everybody go check out the White Cloaks if you like Lord of the Rings. If you like book clubs and stuff. I do. I'm doing them for Wheel of Time. I just need to read more of the Dragon Reborn, and I can resume mine. But definitely check out White Cloaks, and definitely check out Lady Balefire's channel. Both great channels. What about you, Sir Grey? Sir Earl Grey.
Earl Grey, hot. I've got a chill stream later on. What time is it? From 11 p.m. Central. I'm not doing a movie review this week. Just fancied just a chill out. People can come if they want. Just hang out and shoot the breeze, as they say. That's about it.
Can't wait.
All right. So, what time is that going to be? What time is that going to be again?
In about an hour and a half. So it's 11 p.m. Central.
All right. Maybe I don't think I'm doing anything in an hour and a half. So I just need to cool off from all this talk, and we'll get to it. So, so everybody, thanks again for joining us. And for me, the only thing I know streaming wise that's coming up for me is the finale. The finale next week, and maybe I'll create another panel for with different people. So I kind of want to do something similar next week for the finale. Bring in a bunch of different people just talk and vent or say why you like the show. I mean, anything. You can talk about anything you want. So.
Brian, thank you for let me talk, because I love talking about Star Trek with you, and I really appreciate being able to nerd out with something that doesn't quite have the hugest fandom, or at least when you're going way back like we did when we're 10, 11, 12 watching this stuff. That was awesome. A lot of love for Star Trek.
I know. I appreciate you being on too. Appreciate the interest too. So yeah, this was because Lady B was on. The views are going to go up. Because of that. There you go. But yeah. Other than that, I'm still working on I'm gonna definitely be doing. Be making a video about this series. I'm gonna be making a long video about the series. Just everything we're gonna be talking about. I'm gonna be bringing up everything that we talked about, and then versus the hype and everything, and just just discuss that, or I'm just gonna have that discussion. Maybe some people will like it. The only thing is, I just ask that you don't dogpile me. You know, just either hear me out or disagree with me. Don't attack me. I don't appreciate that. So, but all right, guys, everybody, have a good night. Check out Gray's thing afterwards, and stay incorporeal, and have a great weekend.
Take it easy.